We don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
BC Powder knows life pushes us to the max. Work to the max. Family to the max. It can all mean pain to the max. So BC introduces new BC Max Strength. New BC Max relieves tough headaches and body pain at the speed of powder. Nothing stronger on pain without a prescription. Pain to the max? New BC Max. In a great tasting lemonade flavor.
O'Reilly.
Don't miss See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase a pair of select wiper blades. Our professional parts people will even install them for free. Plus, earn triple O Rewards points. Get ready for the weather ahead during See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Marcus by Goldman Sachs offers personal loans with no fees, ever. Banks offer coffee. So what's more important, a Marcus by Goldman Sachs loan with no fees that could help consolidate debt, or bank coffee that tastes like bank coffee? You can money. Visit Marcus.com to learn more about saving, borrowing, and investing from Marcus by Goldman Sachs.
Investing involves risk and investments may lose value. Brokerage and investment advisory services by Goldman Sachs & Company, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Lending and deposits products provided by Goldman Sachs Bank USA. Member FDIC.
Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
It's time
Wake up with a nice cup of morning roast. Featuring Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Presented by Timeless Coffee. This is the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah, baby. Oh, baby. It's going to be a fun day here on the roast. That's right. We got Warriors and T-Wolves. We got Joe Lacob coming in the studio, the owner of the Golden State Warriors. And people on Twitch already, they're ready to roll. Yeah. They're saying we're looking dapper, Shasky. Well, you know we're always in hoodies, crew necks, sweatpants, shorts. Well, the owner of the team's coming in, so you boys had to get dapper. We had to throw some button-ups on today, man. As we say good morning to everybody out there on the roadways.
Keep it 100. All right, before you keep going, just start ripping, because I know you want to rip away at me.
Can I say good morning? You know how I like to do it.
Everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Driving safe, getting off your graveyard shifts, getting to your job, Twitch, YouTube. Good morning, Langford, Curly, everybody out there. Good morning, and good morning to you, Shasky.
What's up?
So I run into Shasky Roasters. Check this out, Roasters.
In the garage.
It's Curly and Shasky. And I've been getting on John Curley, our producer, about dressing up. You know, usually he's in button-ups, he's in slacks, he's in a nice... Lately, we've rubbed off on him. Yes. And in the last 3 weeks, he's been in a Giants hoodie and these baggy jeans just sagging. Like John Curley, the whitest white guy in the world, sagging his pants like it's 1995.
Oh,
okay?
I'm Irish.
Yeah, you could have fooled me with the way you've been dressing. So today I see him right in the garage, and he's got the slacks on, he's got the dress shoes, he's got the sweater, he's got the collar. Ready. And I said, Joe Lacob comes, and now you want to dress up.
For sure.
Because the owner of the team's coming in. Then I see Shasky. He's getting out his car as he's parking.
Looking so saucy.
And Shasky has on a blazer with a button-up, with this button-up tucked into his pants. And I said, all right, guys, enough's enough. It's Joe Lacob, all right? I get it. Joe Lacob, we're all excited. We're wearing button-up. But tuck the shirt out. Joe Lacob doesn't want to see that.
Here's the reality of where we're at right now. Number one, I am not in a position like Bonte Hill where I'm already making money off the dubs on multiple platforms. So I see this as an opportunity for your boy. All right. Number two, I only have so many outfits these days that require, dress up. And I have super dress up, and then I have super casual. And I really don't have anything in between, right?
This is super dress up.
Is it?
Casual.
I'm wearing khakis,
But you got the shirt tucked in with the belt showing.
Yeah, because certain shirts can't be tucked out, and when you try multiple outfits on, I was wearing a polo with like a quarter zip, and I said to myself, "Damn, is this too underdressed?" And I'm going to embarrass Bonte. I'm dead serious. That's what I was thinking.
Embarrass me?
Well, I didn't want to embarrass you.
What are you talking about?
And then this is what look.
Is this guy crazy?
Shout out my man Sean Patrick. He's somebody that is a dear friend of mine who I look up to, and he said to me years ago. And it still sticks. And this is kind of my rule of thumb when dressing up in general. And I don't care what the setting is. I would rather be overdressed than underdressed.
I hear you.
There is nothing worse than being the most underdressed person in the room. And the other thing he said to me is, you dress for the job you want.
So what job do you want?
Not the job you have.
So what job do you want?
Any job that Joe Lacob needs for me. If he wants me to be a door opener, I'll be that,
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe I'll look like one of them beefeater dudes.
Please don't beg.
Open doors.
Don't beg Joe for it.
I'm teasing. I wouldn't do that.
Don't do that. Come on.
But you know what, though? When $1 billion comes walking in the building, your boy's got to at least look like $1,000.
Well, I looked last night. I said, man, all right, Joe Lacob's coming in. Let me throw the button up on the dresser. Yeah. I'm going to wear blue jeans. I'm not going to wear khakis or sweats because I do that at night.
Yeah, but you've done this before.
Yeah, and I have.
It's my first time. I want to make sure it's memorable.
This is your first rodeo. First time I did it, I wore a North Face pullover with a button up.
Oh, this is my virgin voyage.
With the hat. Oh. I had a hat on, too.
You did?
I did. I had a hat
Brixton?
on. Little Brixton? Yeah, you know about my Brixton hats. Yeah, I had the Brixton hat on.
You got about 6 hats?
Yeah, I got about 6.
Yeah.
I got about 6. They're all shrunk. You know the thing about hats, they get dirty. And after like a year and a half, you stop wearing them because the sweat in the hat. I don't know, man. It's just those Brixton hats were fresh though.
Well, it's crazy to me that we're gonna have Joe Lacob in studio, and a year ago today, if we had Joe Lacob in studio, I mean the sky was falling. You know what I mean? The sky was falling. Oh my God, the team loses the first 2 games of the year, gets blown out, and barely beats the Bulls.
The biggest narrative last season. they're not maximizing Steph Curry's prime. They're not maximizing his prime. The window's closing.
I'm so glad you bring this up because we were kind of kicking this around. And there's a lot to talk about today. Niners. We'll get into the Warriors. Sharks. Big win last night. Big underhand win last night when they didn't really play that well. But I want to start here and let's have a little fun. I put out something, what I call my least favorite phrases in sports. There are certain cliches that to me are just ridiculously tired. Okay, ridiculously tired. My number one right now, my current power ranked number one least favorite phrase in sports. Bonte, can you guess what it is?
Got a lot of them, man. I don't know what your favorite is.
Yeah, I'm going to go with what I call the 49er one, which is their go-to. Player X gives us our best chance to win.
Oh, boy.
You know, Daniel Brunskill, he's playing right guard because he gives us our best chance to win. Jimmy Garoppolo's playing quarterback because he gives us our best chance to win. Josh Norman and Drake Kirkpatrick are playing cornerback because they give us our best chance to win. It is the most tired cliche. Shouldn't every position on the field be a guy playing because they give you your best chance to win?
No doubt.
I mean, geez, a crime. So I want to hear from people today. Give me the cliches that you are just sick of. And one of them that you brought up was last year's one for me.
Right.
Steph's window. Maximizing the prime. Like he was Tony Gwynn, and he never won anything, and he didn't go to the playoffs, and this team didn't surround him with the highest payroll known to God's given earth.
Right. We just ignored the payroll. Like, you know, Oakland A's fans would love for Joe Lacob to spend the type of money he does on the Warriors,
Kelly Oubre made more on the cap hit than the A's entire salary in 2020 and 2021 combined.
Dude, and it was, hey, they're not maximizing the window. They need to make a trade. Well, they tried to make some trades. They tried to make moves. They could only do so much.
Exactly.
But here we are after the Warriors start off the season 9-1 after their first 10 games. They won 90% of their first 10 games. All right? 90% clip. And nobody's talking about that.
Nope.
Now we're talking about the window. We're saying, boy, they're back. They're back. Not only are they back, but they're going to be a factor in the playoffs. They're going to have home court advantage through at least the first and second round of the playoffs, I believe. And you know what? The whole maximizing window has turned to wait till we get Clay and Wiseman back. Wait till we get Clay and Wiseman back.
Yeah.
But old sports cliches, you know, we just got to look at the tape and move on to tomorrow.
No, that's Singletary.
Yeah, we just got to look at the tape and see what happened. We just got to look at the tape.
Here's one from the Brian Sabian book that always used to drive me nuts. Because we're going to have Joe Lacob on today, so I always think of, like, what are some of the prominent figures in Bay Area sports? What have they said? The Singletary, look at the tape.
Right.
That became like a joke. Like a straight-up joke.
Hey, we just got to look at the tape and find out what went wrong.
Yeah,
like, were you watching the game?
Yeah. Did you not see that you were down 40-0 to the Atlanta Falcons?
Did you not see the 5-yard out on 3rd and 10 that you threw? Like, what are we doing?
I don't know.
Mike Nolan with the 3rd and 5 fullback dive.
Oh, my God. More Norris.
More Norris and Fred Beasley.
Don't even start
They ran so many fullback delay handoffs on 3rd down.
The worst. But the Brian Sabian, when he used to talk to Ralph, you know, we're kicking the tires. Like, I'm still waiting for them to actually put foot to tire on Vladimir Guerrero Sr. I thought you were going to kick the tires on Vladdy Sr. I thought we were getting him. Like, remember when they used to kick the tires on everyone?
Yep, no doubt. I do remember that here. 5-1-0. Taking it one game at a time.
Always.
Of course, Oreo Cook. Of course, you're taking it one game at a time.
Of course.
What about 574 on the text line? This game is a must-win.
Always.
If it is not a game that ends your season, it is not a must-win.
It's so true.
415 on to Cincinnati. 912. He wishes he could have that one back. Like, no crap. Obviously, if you screw up, yes, you want that back.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Coach Adam, that city, he's got a lot of potential, a.k.a. he's not doing bleep. Everybody's chiming in. The worst cliches out there.
But that's my point. And I just go back to the Warriors because we're going to have Lacob on today. I can't say it enough. 8:15 today. Joe Lacob in studio with Bonte and Butch. And I got to say this, dude, and I can't believe I went third person there on you. But, like, the Joe Lacob slander is just ridiculous to me in general.
Oh, it's terrible.
I'm not saying the guy walks on water and he's perfect. No one's here to say it. But this thing that we did last year, and you and I kind of laughed at it all year, They're not maximizing Steph Curry's prime.
It drove me crazy.
It drove me nuts too. Because you know
crazy.
what? Stay in the course. Put them in a position to where now they've built a legitimate team. I'm looking around the NBA. I watched some of these games last night. I watched the 76ers play last night. And I know their top dogs are out. Did they build a team or did they assemble talent?
They just assembled talent.
Exactly. Do they look like a team?
They don't.
No, they really don't. You know?
How about the Portland Trailblazers?
It's a great example. It's another one.
And you hear Barkley and Shaq talking at halftime like, man, Dame Dollar doesn't look happy. They don't know what to do. It's the same script that they've written for 5 years.
Exactly.
The same old movie. Like, they don't have a plan.
And Bonte, they're a great example of a team that overpaid to get a piece because it was a name in Covington, and he's weak. Would they trade 2 first-rounders for him?
And I like Covington, but they overpay for him.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, we looked at Covington as like an 8th man.
Exactly.
Like, hey, if you come a bitch, play 20 minutes, hit some threes, play some defense.
That's kind of my point here. Like, had the Warriors succumb to the noise and all of the slander on the internet, they would have no future. And I don't even think that their entire roster would be as good as what it is right now.
Right.
Now, B, does that mean that they couldn't make a trade in season if that trade presents itself?
They might.
But right now, if you look at their cupboard, name me a team that has more assets to trade at the deadline if they wanted to. Name me a team that has a better current and future than the Golden State Warriors right now.
It's hard to look around and say, hey, man, maybe it's the Miami Heat. Well, okay, maybe, but they're not. They're in win now mode.
Yes,
and they got a lot of veterans on that basketball team. You got a great mix of vets on this team.
Yes,
with Curry, Draymond, Clay, Iguodala, Bielitsa, Otto Porter Jr., who's been in the league a long time, and you got a lot of youth.
Yes,
and you got a youthful player, Jordan Poole, who's had run now, who's now 3 years into the league, and now he's come to where once he becomes the 6th man of this roster, and he's got the green light. This kid can go.
Well, I'm glad you bring him up because that goes to my next sports cliche that Warrior fans would use regarding the development of young players, Bonte.
Yeah, they never develop young players.
Oh, is that what the narrative was?
Did Klay Thompson not develop here?
Exactly.
Did Draymond Green not develop here?
Absolutely.
Did Iguodala not get better here?
Absolutely.
How about GP2?
Oh,
how about JTA?
How about Looney?
How about Damian Lee?
Yeah.
Looney, you know? And then, by the way, Jordan Poole, who had 2 stints in the G League, and even his rookie year, if people really paid attention, he got sent down to the G League, and he came back up. And it was a small sample size. Yeah. I said, I see incremental improvements.
Yeah.
Last year, okay, you get off to a slow start. You're feeling yourself. You got out to the G League. You ball out. You come back. You average 15 per game the rest of the season.
Yes.
Now, defensively, does he have to get better? He has got better defensively. We heard from Mike Brown where he said, this guy in 3 weeks has taken quantum leaps defensively. I saw him defend LaMelo Ball at times when the Hornets came to town and got blown out. So player development, well, you know what? They're developing talent, and I can't wait to see how James Wiseman develops under this new big man coach.
I'm 100% with you. And look, I just don't think the average fan understands how difficult it is to draft at the bottom of the first round every single year. Like, we all say this. There's like maybe 4 guys in every draft, 5 guys in the NBA, right?
Dudes.
That are like legitimate difference makers.
Right.
Now, can you find a Pascal Siakam and he develops and develops and develops?
Possible.
Yeah, but you know what that guy needs? Runway, minutes, opportunities, right? And when you're building a literal world champion, I mean, that's what the Warriors in 17 and 18, Bonte, we're talking about one of the greatest assembled teams ever. We're not talking about some also-ran 7th seed or an 11th seed where they have all these minutes that could have been had. Okay, so you want to rip the McCaw, the Jacob Evans
picks. But you know
picks.
what, though? Okay, you want to rip the Evans
McCaw was a rookie starting and playing minutes, on the perimeter in finals games.
Game 5 against the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Oracle Arena in Oakland.
Exactly.
McCaw played big minutes in the fourth quarter. Had made some big plays in the fourth quarter. McCaw we thought would be good. Jordan Bell thought he would be good. McKinney had a little bit of run. Bay 408. Great point on Twitch. Warriors brought in JaVale McGee when nobody wanted him.
Yes.
Brought him in on the training camp deal, and look what happened. JaVale McGee became a 2-time champ.
It's a great
and everybody
point.
loves him. So you bring in Zaza.
He was on the USA basketball team.
He won a gold medal.
I still can't believe that.
He won a gold medal.
He was 1 foot out of hoops.
1 foot out of hoops, and the Warriors said, you know what, let's kick the tire.
Yeah.
Kick the tires on him.
Kick the tires. Look at you. Look at you, Sabian.
Kick the tires on him.
But I just always thought that was an unfair thing. And it was
unfair.
You know,
here's another one real quick, 209. At the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, at the end of the day. Well, what else happens at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, we just have to play better.
Yeah.
We have to practice better. Or whenever you hear coaches every Friday in football, oh, yeah, we had a good week of practice. Would you tell us if you had a bad week of practice?
Oh, dude, don't even get me started, in the words of Shanahan, talking about Ayuk. No, but like I just think in general, I'm so happy with where the Warriors are at. And look, I get restless and I get frustrated and I want to see the team make moves and be bold and do things for the now. Them standing pat, staying the course, and figuring out, how they can get on the other side of this tunnel, right? It reminds me of the Robin Williams tunnel. You're on the San Francisco side, you go through the tunnel, then you pop out on the other side, and you're like, oh my God, Sausalito's beautiful right now.
Sun is out.
I look in the other direction, and it's all fog.
Right.
That's where the Warriors are at right now.
Right.
They came through the tunnel, they're out on the other end, and everything just looks brighter this morning.
You know what, though? It was a little cloudy for the Warriors, but if you really had the long-term vision, you saw that. You know what? All right. The first year, KD leaves. You move into the Chase Center. Steph gets hurt 4 games into it. You're trying to bring in D'Angelo. You're trying to make a move, though. But I respect the fact that they said, you know what? We don't want to lose KD for nothing. Let's acquire talent.
Yeah.
Well, you bring in D'Angelo Russell. You realize 2 months into the season that it's not going to work. Let's flip him for Andrew Wiggins, who may be a better fit for our roster.
And they got the best out of him.
And they got the best out of him. And they got a first-round pick out of that.
Yes.
They got a first-round pick out of that, which they flipped into Jonathan Kuminga.
That's right.
You wouldn't have Jonathan Kuminga without making that deal. So you make that deal and acquire an asset.
Yeah.
Okay, the second year, you're trying to win. The pandemic hits. You got no fans there, but you win 39 games. Steph misses 9. Hell, you win 39. You're 3 back at a 5 seed.
Yeah.
You're 3 back at a 5 seed, despite having Kelly Oubre Jr. Not being able to fit with this roster and getting hurt. Despite having James Wiseman miss the chunk of the second half of the season due to an injury to torn meniscus. You barely missed the playoffs despite not having Klay Thompson, who hurts himself on the day of training camp. And by the way, he gets hurt. I mean, not the day of training camp, the day of the draft. He gets hurt on the day of the draft. And Lacob says, you know what, Bob? Go make a move.
Yeah.
What's out there? Kelly Oubre Jr.? Fine, I'll pay the tax. We're trying to go to the playoffs. What don't you like about that?
No, I'm 100% with you. And I think the thing with Oubre that people forget, Klay tore his Achilles on the night of the draft.
The night of the draft, yeah, so I'm saying.
And there was nobody out there. It wasn't like it was at the beginning of free agency. It was the best that they could do. And it just didn't work at all. And you know what we found out when we talked to Bob Myers a couple of weeks ago? He was trying to work deals for Bielitsa in mid-season. Imagine what deals they were trying to cook up for Oubre. So everybody wanted to lose their minds that they didn't trade Oubre and they didn't get anything for him. Come on, man.
But imagine not having the patience for a front office and ownership group that helped bring it 3 championships and 5 finals appearances. And really why you didn't win the finals those other 2
Clay
times.
got hurt.
Clay gets hurt. Durant gets hurt.
Yeah.
And then you get jobbed by Kiki Vandeweghe against the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016.
I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about that one.
Patience.
I'm not going to be patient on that finals.
But no, the P word.
You're right.
A lot of people in today's society, especially when it comes to sports teams, don't have patience. They don't have patience.
You're 100%
the Warriors were awarded patience, the P word. They were patient. They didn't make the big move for the super team.
Yeah.
They stood pat. They took the guys in the lottery, Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, and now look at them. 9-1 on top of the world.
Well, and I think also when you juxtapose that with who just won the championship, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Bucks made a big deal to get Holiday, but they built that team. They built that team, and they surrounded that team with pieces that matched those guys. They could have gone, ring chasing and really tried to blow things up. They stood pat, and then when the time was right, they made a bold trade, and they went all in with their superstar. I respect that. I watched the Bucks last night. They look like a team.
Yeah,
they are
that's
a team.
And they're missing Middleton, and you know what?
Exactly.
The Bucks will be there at the end.
I want to play them in the finals.
That would be a fun finals.
It would be awesome.
It would be a fun
And I think
finals.
it's rewarding the 2 teams that built teams.
Yep. Geno TV. Some of the best moves you make are the ones you don't make.
Clay for Kevin Love.
Joe Lacob in studio at 8:15 today on the roast. We're going to have a lot of fun. Dorell Wright, we can't forget about D, right? He'll join us at 7:30 to talk some Warriors hoops. In the meantime, we'll get into the Niners here, talk about Shanahan because, patience with the 49ers. I get it why people are losing patience with the 49ers. We'll get into some 49ers sound. Don't forget Joe Lacob in studio at 8:15. And don't forget tip-off at 7 p.m. tonight. Warriors Live starts at 5:30, presented by Xfinity Sports Zone, the ultimate sports hub experience.
This morning at 8:15, the owner of your Golden State Warriors, Joe Lacob, is live in studio with Bonte and Shasky.
What most people want to know is, are we committed to winning no matter what? The truth is that we are committed to winning.
Since 50 and older, any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Now, back to the Morning Roast, presented by Timeless Coffee with Bonte and Shasky.
Joe Lacob in studio, 8:15 here in the Morning Roast. Owner of the Golden State Warriors, who are 9-1. They'll take on the T-Wolves tonight. We'll see D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, Patrick Beverly.
Pat Bev?
Pat Bev will be able to build it at Chase.
Here's a cliche that I can wrap into the Pat Bev thing. Are you, Bonte Hill, going to give Pat Bev his flowers for winning the West the last 5 years and taking over control? Giving someone their flowers is one that I think it's stupid.
I liked it. It's overused now.
It's so bad.
It's overused now.
It's bad.
It's overused.
It's bad.
So, like
when was the last time you gave your girl flowers? Wow, you got deflated. Like I just punctured the balloon.
You did. When's the last time you gave Michelle some flowers?
Well, what I do when I go to Safeway, I always get flowers for the house. So I'm constantly getting them because she likes to make little what are they called?
Bouquets.
Yeah.
They are bouquets that you buy.
Yeah, but I don't know. She likes to mix and match them. So sometimes I'll get them.
Don't tell anybody that.
Yeah.
I'm long overdue. Maybe just do that after the show.
I would suggest just doing them randomly.
Yeah, I do random.
Yeah.
Shasky, come on.
You can't just do it.
Who are you talking to? I know.
Give Anna her flowers.
Yeah, right. My boy Carlos in Florida, listening all the way in Florida. He loves the roast. His cliche is, nobody works harder than him.
Oh, yeah.
How do we determine who works harder than the other? You got the fake hustle guys who are doing the sprints extra hard.
Oh, yeah.
The practice All-Americans is what we called them in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Practice All-Americans. You run the play over, and then they make the play on the second time. It's like, yo, you know the play, dummy. Stop trying to get some extra credit here. Nobody works harder than that guy.
It's in golf, when you miss a putt, and then you're like, let me try that again, and you hit the next one. We call that second shot All-American. Because the first shot doesn't count, and then the second one they drain, and second shot.
And then they want to talk about the second shot all day long. Oh man, when I nailed that putt, that was your second chance, though, doggy. That was your second chance. All right, Peter King joined Damon and Ratto yesterday.
We call that fig jam.
Was that?
Damn, I'm good. It's a lot of swearing in there, but that's what they call Phil Mickelson fig jam because, he has some swear words and then it says basically, damn, I'm good.
I like Phil, man.
I love Phil.
Uncle Phil's great. Uncle Phil's great. Might be my favorite right now.
He's another one. I'm hitting bombs.
What's another cliche? GOAT.
Oh, the GOAT. Yeah,
he's the GOAT.
We throw that around.
He's a GOAT. Everybody's the greatest of all time now.
There can't be 8 billion
GOATs. Yeah. Everybody's the greatest. I thought it was just Ali or Jordan.
And then obviously the GOAT, Jerry Rice.
Everybody's a GOAT now. Yeah. You could throw 2 touchdown passes in the game. Oh, he's the GOAT. What a GOAT throw.
Oh, I kept hearing about Drew Brees being the GOAT. It's like,
not even close.
Not even like the 5th best quarterback of his own generation?
No, not even close. All right. Peter King joined Damon and Ratto yesterday. Peter King, Monday morning quarterback, 95.7 a game. NFL Insider joins Damon and Ratto every Tuesday.
What did Pete say?
And he says if the 49ers continue to struggle, this would happen.
This obviously is not acceptable, so what are they going to do about it? I think at the end of this year, barring a complete turnaround, changes are going to have to be made. How drastic those changes are, whether they would just be like D'Amico Ryans or maybe some coaches, or whether it's bigger than that, we'll see. But this, cannot stand.
Changes will be made. What changes? Well, we know one change will be made at the quarterback position. We know that for sure.
And that might happen in season.
Right. So what are the changes? Because Shanahan, in my opinion, is not getting fired. He's not getting fired. Now, how the 49ers end this season will determine how hot his seat gets. Right now, to me, it's not hot at all. It's not even lukewarm.
So it's not a hot plate?
It's not a hot plate at all.
Well, it's like, nothing worse than middle of the night. And this is before I had the warm seat, toilet top, the Toto washlet. But you'd have the cold toilet seat. Is there anything
how much did that hit you?
More jarring? That that set me back.
Yeah.
It's a couple $100.
Yeah.
It's worth it, though.
Is it worth it?
I'm telling you right now, you put a bidet in your life, it'll change your life.
Oh, yeah. Cole's talked about bidets in Japan. He's got a bidet now. He's got like 2 at his house.
And you don't even need to have the expensive actual toilet, so you can just get the top as long as you have an outlet right near, which is what we have.
Just might as well go all in.
Well, no, because it's when you have the main toilet and the whole thing's all one piece, what ends up happening is if you break it, it's more expensive to fix.
Well,
so
don't break it.
I go with the 550 Toto, and then the top washlet, it's significantly
That's
less
why if you have
expensive.
guests over at your house, you can't like let people use the bidet. You got to go downstairs and use the bathroom.
Well, both of them have that.
Oh,
that's what the Shaskys do.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing that. The bidet is going into the master bedroom, and that's about it.
So the seat is not cold.
Nobody else gets the bidet. Will you feel me on that, Langford? Like I'm not buying the bidet for the guests that come in the house and just use the bidets over and over and over because they're reckless. Guests are reckless.
That I agree with, and it's jarring for some people.
Yeah. All right, back to the Niners again. I just had to get that out.
So the seat is not hot for Kyle Shanahan.
Not even close to being hot. It's not even lukewarm. It's cold.
Okay.
It's not going nowhere. So the head coach is not going to change.
Like the Outcast song. It's cold. It's cold. I'm cold.
Look, Shanahan's not going anywhere.
You guys don't know that one?
No, we know it. Just I didn't know if
Stankonia?
Yeah, I didn't know if it fit. That was not Outkast's best album.
There was about 5 hitters, though.
Yeah, it was 5 hitters. It was about their
Bombs
fourth
Over
best.
Baghdad was like 20 years ahead of its time.
Yeah, it was. That beat was hard. Bombs Over Baghdad.
So sick.
So Shanahan's not going anywhere. Garoppolo's not going anywhere. Is D'Amico Ryans going anywhere?
No, Garoppolo's going somewhere.
Excuse me. Garoppolo, the quarterback, there will be a change in the quarterback spot. So we know Trey Lance is there. So Trey Lance is going to be a quarterback. That's the one drastic change as a quarterback, which may happen in the next couple weeks. We never know. Shanahan's not going anywhere. Is John Lynch going somewhere?
No, I don't think so. But I would like to see him maybe kicked up to a different role.
Okay,
you know, I don't know right now. I have no idea who's picking players, but I think they need to have a serious come to Jesus moment as I go horrible sports cliches that I can't stand, and they need to look in the mirror.
Moment.
They need to look in the mirror, and they need
look
to
in the mirror.
bring in some outside influence. Now, the way I look at this, when you get too insular, right, what ends up happening is you get the same thought process over and over and over again. And can we all agree? When you look at this roster, they need a little new. They need some fresh blood injected into this.
As Baldy said yesterday, it's very stale.
I'm agreeing with him.
I agree with him 100%. By the way, 707 Mikey Dubs, shady seat is room temperature. That's pretty good.
A room
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
room
that's not
tippy.
bad.
That's not bad at all. I like that, Mikey Dubs. That's your best text in like 4 months.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's a high volume shooter.
He's a Russell Westbrook in the text line.
So I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, clearly there's got to be some personnel changes.
Right.
I'm going to just go on the record and say this because I think you and I are in agreement here. I understand it is a 3 wide receiver league now. That's what most teams are going to roll out there. I'm so done with this Seattle defense. I'm so done with it just in general.
Yeah.
I want a complete reconstruction. I don't know. Does it mean I'm going to the 3-4? I don't know. I don't even know if the 3-4 can exist in today's day and age.
I want an exotic defense. Like, I look at Baltimore, right? And Baltimore gets shredded at times, but they have a lot of injuries.
Everyone gets shredded.
But you know what, though? I love how they'll have 8 guys standing up at the line of scrimmage.
What I'm saying.
You never know who's blitzing. You never know who's coming. The Y9 also, if you don't have the personnel, you give up a lot of rushing yards.
Well,
I saw this in Philadelphia.
Yes,
I saw this in Tennessee. So if you don't have the personnel on the defensive line, the wide 9 doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't. Your gaps are too wide to where you give it up 4 yards a pop
totally.
anyway.
You're the 28th team in rush defense right now.
Right.
Okay. You're horrible. And your passing yards, you know why? You are in the top 5 in terms of best.
Because you commit pass interferences all the time.
Exactly. So no one actually catches those, and teams are running all over you. So my big fix, I think, for this offseason is I'm going to look hard at this defense because the offense has got its own issues, and I think the quarterback is part of that. I'm looking at this defense, and I'm saying I need outside the box thinking. I am so done with this redundant wide 9 Seattle defense. Can you get me a man corner? Can you get me a couple of man corners that can actually cover dudes one-on-one? Like, stuff the run, and let's get a man corner here. Just start with one. Get me one guy who could stay with someone man-to-man a little, and we'll go from there.
No, I'm looking at the Houston Texans here because I'm thinking about D'Amico Ryans. Right?
They were 3-4 back in the day.
He played in a 3-4 defense, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
And I think even at Alabama, when he played at Alabama, he may have played in a 3-4 defense. I could be wrong, but it feels like he's more familiar with the 3-4 defense. Why not just move to a 3-4 defense? When you think about the 49ers and Aldon Smith and Justin Smith, now again, you got to have personnel, right?
Yeah, and you have to have linebackers
personnel
who can run and cover. And I think that's the one area. They need to invest in middle linebacker again. Well, they need another guy that can run and cover.
Well, I think Drake Greenlaw is that guy.
Okay. I'm willing to listen to that.
He was hurt. He's hurt right now.
I'm looking at the Patriots right now, and I'm looking at the Steelers, even though their defense isn't perfect. I think their offense...
D'Amico Ryans played middle linebacker under Wade Phillips, and Wade Phillips always ran
a 3-4, and always had a great defensive end, outside linebacker that would rush the passer. I'm just looking at some of the defenses around the league, and I get it. You're going to be in nickel situations, but my God, can we all agree? Like, this thing's getting stale. Name me a team that's running this Seattle front right now that's an elite defense.
Nobody. I mean, it's
all over the league.
The Raiders are running it.
Seattle's running it, and they stink.
The Jets are running it.
They stink.
They do stink. So I'm with you there, man. The wide nine, again, if you don't have a DeForest Buckner, you don't have Kinlaw, Armstead is whoever, and Bosa's coming off a big knee, and the wide nine doesn't work against the run.
No.
And when you're giving up chunk yards in a run game early and on early downs, like Shanahan said, you're giving up 6 yards on first down, 7 yards on second down. Like, all these teams are coming in 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. Now the play action pass is in play. Now you can the playbook opens up for you, and now you're going down the field. So it's bad right now. We'll continue some 49er talk.
And scheme changes. I need to see both.
Both. That's the big change.
Yeah.
That's the big change. Because I don't think it's going to happen at the head coaching position. I don't think it's going to happen with John Lynch.
Subtle changes, I think, are how they're going to be able to revamp this
Which the Warriors did a season ago.
Exactly.
Joe Lacob in studio, 8:15. We cannot wait. Joe Lacob, the owner of the Warriors, will come in live to join us here to talk some hoops. Also, Dorell Wright, 7:30, my co-host on Warriors pre- and post-game live on NBC Sports Bay Area. He'll join us at 7:30 to talk about the hot start of the Golden State Warriors, as the segment was presented by Golden State Lumber and building materials for professional builders and contractors throughout Northern California. Visit goldenstatelumber.com. Also, the segment was brought to you by Fremont Bank, full-service banking, no compromises.
This morning at 8:15, the owner of your...
going. It's like a football game. You know, when you got the music, you got your headphones on, going to the football game, you're putting on your eye black, and you're like, I got to have that right playlist. Langford has the right playlist for me every freaking show. And it gets me going. Long segments, short segments, doesn't matter. It gets me going.
Unless you came to bang, bombs over Baghdad. God, I love this song so much.
You caught Spadoni on a Phil Collins Friday, huh?
I did. And
Uno, dos. Oh, my goodness.
And trust me, I lived through those for about a year and a half.
Yeah. I want to make a point here that was
Hollow Notes, too. He had Hollow Notes Fridays, too. I didn't mind Hollow Notes. I can't.
He also has 50 Cent Fridays sometimes, too. It depends on what Spadoni's feeling.
Yeah. Yes, Spadoni's a good kid.
Well, I'm feeling this text message that I just got, and I think this is an interesting point about the 49ers. And yes, we have Joe Lacob at 8:15. I can't say it enough this morning here on 95.7 The Game. If your philosophy is to rotate defensive linemen, the fact that you paid a defensive tackle in Armstead top dollar, then drafted Javon Kinlaw top 15, is just silly. Those two things contradict themselves.
They do.
You're rotating linemen, and you're going to make that guy one of the highest paid players on your team. It's not that hard. These top picks that they have coming up, I know they lost a couple of first rounders. They got to be playmakers. They need a playmaker in the secondary. When was the last time they had a guy who was a quote-unquote playmaker in the secondary? Because there's so much love for Tartan Ward, I find it hilarious.
Well, it is hilarious. I feel like Lenore can be a playmaker. I feel like he can, but he doesn't play.
Last playmaker.
I don't even want to say Ahmed Plummer. I mean, Terrell Brown, maybe. Chris Culliver made some plays. I know it didn't end well.
We're talking about single seasons.
Yeah, I know.
Outliers. Carlos Rogers,
I know.
Single season outlier.
That's what I'm saying. I'm stretching. I'm
like
reaching.
Deshaun Golston and Whitner were thumpers. Both guys.
They were thumpers. Not playmakers.
I don't file them under playmaker.
Right.
I file them under thumper.
Zach Bronson was a playmaker, but that's going
Lance
20 years.
Tony Parrish, those were thumpers.
Schulters, yeah,
those were thumpers.
Zach Bronson was a playmaker.
I mean, let's
remember Zach Bronson had like 7 picks one year.
He did, and he had 2 against Peyton Manning in that famous game. It's Dion. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Merton Hanks and Dion. Those were the 2 playmakers. You had 2 guys that were ball hawks in that back end of that secondary. Bonte, that was 30-something years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gotten to the point now.
And they weren't even drafted. I mean, like, Dion was a free agent.
Yes. But, like, it's getting to the point where you look around the league and the top corners are all taken in the top 45 picks, and all the best safeties now, like, they're not thumpers per se. They're all playmakers. And Jaquiski Tart is, I would say, more thumper than playmaker.
And when he thumps, he gets hurt.
Exactly. And then Jimmy Ward, everyone's like, oh, the coverage skills. Like, I don't care that you tackled a guy properly after a 15-yard completion.
Can you force turnovers?
Can you make an interception for crying out loud? This is a secondary that just does not produce turnovers. And right now, I'm looking at the minus 44 under the Shanahan era. I think I look at the back end of those defenses, and they just have 0 playmakers. And I think that really kills their differential.
But it's also from the defensive line. Can you force fumbles? Can you force fumbles on the quarterback? Can you strip the ball? Fred Warner, can you force turnovers? Can you come up with picks? You know, playmakers on every level. You need playmakers on every level. And right now, they don't have that, man.
Look at Minkah Fitzpatrick, the trade that went down a couple of years ago with Pittsburgh. They traded a first-round pick. Everyone's like, oh, my God, they don't even have a quarterback, and they're trading a first-round pick for Minkah.
Smart.
And Minkah has been a stud for them.
Wasn't his first game against the Niners in week 3?
And he made plays.
Yeah. And he made plays in that game. So Minka's a baller. So, yes, there needs to be changes, but subtle changes like the Warriors. Warriors had subtle changes on their coaching staff.
Yes.
You know, Collins goes down to New Orleans and he's coaching next to Willie Green. Well, they bring in Kenny Atkinson, who I thought was a really good coach with the Brooklyn Nets. Got ran out by basically Kyrie Irving. And he comes here with the Warriors, and I know he hasn't been on the bench lately because he's had a leg injury. But, man, he's already made a difference. He's already made a difference. Bringing a big man coach who helped Jokic. He's working with Wiseman and Draymond. Looks like it's going to pay off. The bigs look better already. You know what I'm saying? I hear the great reports about Wiseman. You're bringing a player development coach from Toronto. Well, it looks like guys are developing really, really well. Subtle moves. And that's what the Niners need. They need subtle moves.
I'm with you.
So it's not like, hey, Shanahan, chop his head off.
No, we're not talking about
We're going to make the move at quarterback.
Yeah.
We know that's coming.
Yeah.
We know that's coming. But in the secondary, in the linebacker core, and the defense, it's just, you know what? Switch up the scheme. I'm over the wide 9. I was skeptical when we first had it, when the 49ers first had it. it worked because you had playmakers on every level. That defense in 2019 was special. But you still gave him 4.7 yards a carry.
Yeah.
People forget that.
Well, and I think the other part of the Sherman, like missing Sherman right now, they just miss physicality at corner. I mean, I'm watching that game back last night, the Niner game, and I'm saying to myself, damn, dude, they are punking our corners.
Well, just listen to the Eno Benjamin touchdown run. Hey, Langford, do you have that play?
Punking them.
Dude, it came out there early.
Punking them.
They did whatever they wanted to do. They were backed up in their end zone, up 14-0, and Cliff Kingsbury said, hey, Colt McCoy, drop back and throw a bomb.
I know.
And what did he do? Throw a bomb. And it was a perfect spiral. They did whatever they wanted, including this play right here.
On 2nd and 5, this is Eno Benjamin. A little hop step, and he trucked Dre Kirkpatrick and takes it in for the touchdown. Oh my goodness.
Kevin Kugler on a call for Fox Sports.
And it's worse in real time when you see it. I mean, it was so bad.
They got punked, dude.
It was so
They're
bad.
getting beat up physically.
Yes.
And that's why Monday Night Football against the Rams, I'm like, damn, the Rams lost to the Titans. Oh, boy, they got a sour taste in their mouth.
Yeah. Well, and they're another team.
On Sunday Night Football, too.
Have you seen who they have in the back end of that secondary? It's a guy by the name of Jalen Ramsey.
Yes.
He's ridiculous.
You know who they just traded for?
Yeah.
Von Miller.
Yeah.
And he's going to probably make his debut on Monday Night Football alongside Aaron Donald.
Yeah, you want to know what my Gillette matchup of the game is going to be?
Gillette matchup.
Yeah, Craig Hodges. You want to know what it is? I'm going to circle it right now. Wherever Daniel Brunskill is, they are going to attack him over and over and over and over again. And my favorite is I'm seeing some of the people from the 49ers media, the beat writers. Well, Brunskill's a smart guy. Well, that's great. I'm super thrilled that he was awesome on his Wonderlic because the dude is a turnstile at right guard. Bonte, he might be the worst right guard the Niners have had in 20 years.
It's not good. It's not good.
Horrible.
I don't know if he's the worst in 20 years because there's been some bad right guards. But you speak of right guards, right? You speak about right guards, and I agree, 5-0. If no pass rush, you can have great corners. If no pass rush, you can't guard receivers for that long. And the pass rush hasn't been great.
They go hand in hand. They both suck right now.
But the pass rush, exactly.
They both
even
suck.
If you had great corners, this pass rush stinks.
Yeah, it does.
This pass rush stinks. You speak of right guards. Well, Aaron Banks was drafted out of Notre Dame. Out of Notre Dame, second-round pick. Here's what Shanahan had to say about Aaron Banks not playing.
Banks, we thought, had the best chance to compete to maybe win one of those jobs over the offseason, but he didn't get that. He wasn't there in training camp, started getting his work in week 1, and has been behind the 8 ball. And I think he's had a couple good weeks here, his best 2 weeks lately, and he's starting to push him a little bit. But when that time is right for him and our team, we'll make that move.
I mean, it just, to me, behind the 8 ball, how far behind is he? I get he didn't practice, but he knows the playbook. How far behind can he possibly be? And how is he not getting better?
Here's the thing with Shanahan that drives me just crazy. How hard is this? Why is this so hard? Is this 1971?
Yeah.
Do you know what the draft is that right now? Like Bonte, the draft is this. Your first 3 picks, first, second, and third round. Unless it is a specific circumstance, 9 times out of 10, you draft someone in the first, second, or third round, it's plug and play, baby.
Yep.
The NFL, unlike the NBA, unlike Major League Baseball, they give you a minor league system. It's called college football. You get 3 years of learning how to be a professional, and these guys that you draft should not be projects at those positions. It should be plug and play. Aaron Banks is the only second rounder. There are 2 others who have not played a snap. A snap. Do you know who they are?
2 guys who've been hurt, right?
One guy was hurt,
right?
Who has had a knee scoped. The other guy, the backup for Tom Brady, Trask.
Kyle Trask.
Aaron Banks, he needs to play. He needs to play. This thing that the playbook is so complicated he can't get out there. Really? Then maybe you need to dumb down the playbook a little.
This segment is presented by Golden State Lumber and building materials for professional builders and contractors throughout Northern California. Visit goldenstatelumber.com. Here's Shanahan on the second and third round picks.
We knew we drafted a guard in the second round thinking he'd have a chance to push Brunskill and Lakin. Our biggest thing with all those positions, whether it was running back, third, corner in the third and the fifth, and guard in the second, those are all positions we were very thin at. Now, we had guys there that were starters. We weren't drafting a hole to replace the starter, whether it was at guard or whether it was at corner or whether it was at back. Felt good with Raheem and Jeff Wilson as our starting backs, but we knew we needed some depth. Felt very good about Verrett, Bosley, and K1 as our starting 3 corners. But we also knew we needed some depth behind them for injury and for going into next year, especially with the 1-year deal those guys are on, and we had to start getting some youth in here.
And so instead, you bring in veterans like Josh Norman and Drake Kirkpatrick, and you don't trust the rookie corners. So the rookie corners aren't ready to play, and you bring in Josh Norman, who leads the league in defensive holdings, pass interferences. The guy just got picked up off the street. It's been a complete nightmare. And he's still on the roster, despite what he pulled last Sunday against Arizona. And then Drake Kirkpatrick, we played this for you.
On 2nd and 5, this is Eno Benjamin. A little hop step, and he trucked Drake Kirkpatrick and takes it in for the touchdown. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, like, what are we doing here?
Well,
what are we doing down
This is the part that drives me nuts. Like, are we the Sacred Heart Cathedral Irish? Like, are we redshirting freshmen and sophomores until they get to their junior year? This is the NFL. Like, you are competing with the big boys. Oh, we drafted this guy so that one day he could replace them. That is literally not what you do in the NFL.
No.
In the NFL, it is plug and play for those first 3 picks.
It's a win-now league.
Exactly.
We talk about patience with the Golden State Warriors and having big windows.
But the NFL is totally different.
NFL is totally different because of injuries, because of turnover, because of other teams within your division making moves.
And because of the minor league system that's called college, Bonte.
No doubt. Here's what Shanahan had to say about Trey Sermon on why he doesn't play.
Trey Sermon, we didn't bring him here to come and start at running back. We needed to add some depth, and unfortunately we lost our 2 starting running backs within 2 plays of the first play of the year. And after that, I wouldn't say it's anything against Trey Sermon, but we felt better with Elijah. Elijah had a strong camp. He ended up beating Trey out, and that's why he got that role. And Trey got some opportunities when other people got injured. But right now, Jeff Wilson's back healthy, and Elijah is healthy. And those are our 2 starting backs right now, with Trey being third. And unfortunately, Hasty's been our third down back and done the stuff in the pass game. So he's kind of been the odd man out with that, which is tough on him. Doesn't mean that we don't believe in him. He's just not ahead of those other guys right now in terms of running the ball on 1st and 2nd down.
So you trade up for it in the 3rd round to pick up Trey Sermon out of Ohio State, which excited me. I was excited about that pick. I was like, man, Trey Sermon in this offense, this is golden. But the 6th round pick is better than Trey, and now he can't even dress. He's a healthy scratch. And you're spending a 3rd round pick on a healthy scratch, and a 6th round pick is beating him out? That's bad value. That's bad value right there by the 49ers. Yeah.
And but here's the other part of this. Like, okay, so Elijah Mitchell's better. That doesn't say because I hear this argument. Well, the 6th rounder makes up for the 3rd rounder. No, it doesn't.
No,
not at all. Every pick should be treated as gold. Right? Like every pick is what I call an opportunity to add a contributor to your team. And right now, Trey Sermon is not contributing at all.
Not even close.
At all. Look, I'm okay with waiting on Trey Lance because and spending as much as they did on him because it's the most important position in sports. Yep. I'm okay with that. Think of how much they've invested into the running backs and the wide receivers, and they've got nothing to show for it.
McKinnon, Joe Williams,
Coleman,
Mostert, Coleman, Breida. Forgot about Breida. Just let him go.
Jeff Wilson Jr., Raheem Mostert, who you bring up, Trey Sermon, Elijah Mitchell, and right now it's Elijah. That's it.
It's not looking good.
And I like Elijah. That's the irony. Is I do like Elijah. That doesn't
He's got a big rib problem right now.
I know, but that doesn't make the Sermon pick good, right? And then I look at their wide receivers. I think they've hit on 2 of the 7 that they've drafted, and we know the free agency has been really bad for them. Look, Sanu's out right now. You know who deserves an opportunity? Jawan Jennings. I want to see what this guy has. Like, what are we waiting for? Why'd you draft him?
I'm with you there. You are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMG FM and AC1 San Francisco and Odyssey Station, brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified. Let's lighten the mood up here. Let's talk about the Warriors.
Oh,
Joe
Lacob
goodness. Will join us in about an hour and 15 minutes. An hour and 12 minutes, if my math is right. 8:15. Dorell Wright will join us at 7:30 because the Warriors are rolling right now. Their first 10 games, they go 9-1. Very impressive win against the Hawks. Curry drops 50. He drops 50. And you know what Steve Kerr said? He may be in the best shape of his career.
I think he's in the best shape of his life. The last few years, I think he's elevated his strength and his conditioning, and he's a machine out there. He doesn't get tired. He's going full bore at both ends, and it's amazing to watch him.
By the way, Odell Beckham Jr. is honing in on the Chiefs, Packers, and Saints. As a gambling man, I would have put my money on the Chiefs. Because they need a second wideout, but him with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, that could be special. We'll keep an eye out on Odell Beckham Jr. But
how do the Saints have money?
They manipulate the cap. They manipulate like the cat. They work. Yeah, I know. The 49ers, it's laughable. I'm not even going to use what I said yesterday.
I don't even want Odell.
I don't.
The fact that they don't have, I love how they just dismiss everything.
We don't have the financial resources.
Because, we got to worry about Bosa's contract 6 years from now.
Right, exactly. But Steve Kerr on Steph Curry dropping 50. Best shape of his career. And you know what he is? We saw him at Media Day. How much stronger he looked. He looks like his offseason work. I mean, we know Steph Curry takes his work seriously. But, we need to start looking at him in the light of a Jerry Rice in the offseason. This guy, like you said, we need to start looking at him as the greats, the Tom Brady's. Yeah. The Tom Brady's. And I think Steph Curry does look at those guys and say, man, they work so hard. What can I do to get better? Yeah. My nutrition, my all-season work.
His dexterity.
Brandon Payne said, hey, look, we know you can make the three. But if you hit the rim, we're going to count that as a miss. Yeah. I mean, that is insane. This guy.
And his finishing around the rim,
was better last year.
I know.
Remember last season, he really got better at finishing around the rim.
Because he's stronger.
He's stronger at getting to the free throw line. That's what he wasn't doing a lot early on in his career. And even when he was winning MVPs, he wasn't getting to the line like that. Now he's getting to the free throw line, and now he's making plays. And, the trickle-down effect, not a Damian Lee's. He's working his ass off, right? Not to say that he wasn't working hard. You know what I'm saying? They all work hard, but when your leader, your superstar is setting a tone like he did the other night, it's a trickle-down effect, and you wonder why this team is playing so well.
I would also throw Draymond Green in there. Draymond looks like he's in the best shape that he's been in 4 years? 5 years? I think having a full offseason of playing basketball with Team USA helped him out. I think being so distanced from the shoulder injury really helped him out. He just looks fantastic right now. On the Steph Curry front, I would say he's one of the greatest conditioned athletes I've ever seen. When Jerry Rice's name gets brought up, Jerry Rice outworked Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan admits that out loud. He would not run the hills with him. Roger Craig talking about, I will not run the hills with Jerry Rice.
He tried, but they failed.
Yeah. Bill Walsh used to tell Jerry Rice, you're slowing down practice because every pass you catch, you need to go the full 80 yards. You need to speed this up a little. You're ruining my practice here.
Just run to the 50, bro.
Exactly.
You don't need to run to the G, but that's who Jerry was.
Exactly. And I'm looking at Steph Curry, and I see just against his contemporaries, you're seeing someone like James Harden, and you're seeing how he's breaking down right now and the lack of conditioning. I look at someone like Chris Paul, who very much was better than Steph Curry. I don't think anyone would say, he was better than where Steph Curry was before Steph went on this run. Does anyone think that Chris Paul's body's going to last better as he ages than Steph Curry?
He's played a long time, but he's always got nicks and bruises, right?
It's the core muscle injuries.
Right, it's always the core muscle. Anthony Davis. Oh,
don't even start me on that guy. The human ace bandage.
What did Charles Barkley call him? Street clothes?
He's always hurt. Every time he falls to the ground, it's like he's going to get hurt. The other thing that we don't talk enough is how much he fights through the pain in Steph Curry. He had the broken tailbone, essentially, last year. Right. No one wants to talk about that.
Well,
the guy was wearing a diaper, for crying out loud.
Dad busted him out. And what does he do with the broken tailbone? He goes out there and averages 37 for the last 2 months of the season. The dude averaged 37.
Stupid.
The stats are ridiculous.
They are.
Knowing that, hey, man, I don't have Kelly Oubre Jr., there's no Wiseman, Wiggins. They were basically rolling 8 deep. And then they're going to get help. This team is already deep. Shasky, they already look deep, right? They're already running 9-10 deep. And then they're going to get James Wiseman.
I know.
And Klay Thompson.
I know.
And did you hear what Brian Windhorst had to say about Klay Thompson?
No, my good friend Brian Windhorst. What do you have to say?
Great friend Brian Windhorst. I thought you guys were having lunch the other day, right?
We are definitely me, him, and Friedel. We're homies. I call it the Holy Trinity.
Well, Brian Windhorst, this is what he had to say about Klay Thompson.
Would you believe me if I told you that Steph Curry this year is averaging 5 points, almost 5 points less than he did last year? That his three-point shooting is down? No. That his overall shooting is down? Wow. The difference is this team is playing so much better, so we look at them differently. Now, they have benefited from an easy schedule. But when you talk to people out there in the league, what they say is the last 2 years, obviously, they were spinning in neutral because Klay was hurt and Steph was hurt 2 years ago. But this team got better during that time. You may look at their record, not say they got better, but look at Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is a guy they've been developing over the last 2 years so that now when Steph is back, now when Draymond is healthy, that he can come in and contribute and help lift this team up. And let me tell you something else. The whispers going on in the league right now about Klay Thompson. People are watching him. People are talking to people in the Warriors organization, and they say he looks good. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying he's coming back and he's going to be shooting 40 points in his first quarter, There ain't nothing wrong with that wrist, though. But he looks good working out, and that there is a real confidence in there that, especially by the end of the season, Klay is going to be back.
Klay is going to be back. Klay Thompson looks good. D4 looks good. No, D4 doesn't look good. D4 does not look good. D4 does not play. D4 is injured.
But what about Klay?
There's no emotion on my face because I'm numb.
What about Klay? Klay looks good. He looks good. He looks back. Klay Thompson's going to be back.
Back. Gone.
Wet balls.
Wet balls. Hey, one other thing from Brian Windhorst. Brian Windhorst doesn't just say things like he does. No. All right, and that's one thing I've really actually grown to love Brian Windhorst.
Hey, because he went heel on LeBron James.
You know what? He did, and he looks like a mobster in his three-piece suit.
Yeah, no, Brian Windhorst is a good dude.
No, but like he's connected, dude. Like he's connected. He's not just going to say things flippantly. I really appreciate Brian Windhorst's perspective on the NBA because he doesn't just say stuff. Like he's a very well thought out individual. So if he's saying that he's hearing that Klay's back, there's some truth to this, and you need to believe it. And I'm so fired up for it.
Yeah.
On another note, there's nothing funnier to me than the ESPN generic music that they'll play in the middle of some of these cuts, and they start to go. And it's just they have like a generic band that creates
jingle.
Yes,
it's the jingle that they have in a playlist. No doubt.
I love it. It makes me. I don't know. It just makes me smile every single time.
But I'm looking at this team that's going to add Klay Thompson, and if Klay's 70% of what Klay is, that's still better than a lot of players. And you have Damian Lee playing well. In 24 minutes, he's averaging 11 and a half points. And I believe in 7 of the 9 games he's played, he's been in double figures in scoring. And he's playing solid defense. And you see his passing. He's playmaking. GP2. We can't talk enough about GP2.
Young Glove?
Young Glove.
We needed an intro song for him.
I know. We need.
What's the best Young Thug song?
I don't know. Let's
remix it for Young Glove.
I'm not a big Young Thug guy. He's got a couple.
Guru said that his son was playing it, and now he's all over Young Thug.
Well, Guru loves Drake. He thinks Drake is the greatest of all time. That's where Guru's head is at when it comes to music. He loves the 106 KMBL.
I'm not mad at that.
Top 40. Lay off. We got to go deeper, Guru. You got to go deeper to the playlist.
Guru's my guy.
Yeah, he's my guy, but you got to go deeper to the music. Like
if he likes him. Steven, what's the best Young Thug song?
Langford has no idea.
There's one called Hot that I like. I'm not a big Young Thug guy.
Yeah,
I'll play an instrumental coming back. Actually, I got one coming from an Odyssey exclusive station, so stick around for that. But I do like Hot by Young Thug, if you want to listen to that one. He made a song called High, which is remixed with Elton John, which is a good one.
Kind of like these one-word songs.
That's all it is.
That's all. That's what they do nowadays. Hot, high, fly, baller, balling, cars, jewelry, chains with a Z, not an S.
It's like a wine company. Intercept.
Yeah. Charles Woodson's
wine.
There you go. Heisman Trophy winning wine.
The Catch. Montana and Clark's wine. You know?
What's coming up on the game brought to you by Valley Transportation Authority. We're going to talk to Dorell Wright at 7:30, and then Joe Lacob's going to join us live in studio at 8:15.
Yes.
We're going to talk some hoops. Warriors taking on the T-Wolves. Golden State Warriors are 9-1. Niners are 3-5. We're going to put them on ice for the rest of the show, man. People get mad about the Niners, man.
Got to keep that fresh fish, you know what I mean? You don't want to get that stank.
No, the stank-ass Niners.
Looking for a fulfilling career with opportunities for job growth? Is paid training, excellent medical and dental benefits, and a pension important to you? Then apply to become a VTA bus operator, providing VTA customers with a great transit experience. Visit VTA.org/point A and apply.
This morning at 8:15, the owner of your Golden State Warriors, Joe.
Sugar. Also, the segment is brought to you by Fremont Bank. Full service banking, no compromises. Joe Lacob in studio at 8:15. We'll talk to the owner of the Golden State Warriors. Also, Dorell Wright in about 9 minutes to talk about these same old Warriors. Dorell Wright, of course, on NBC Sports Bay Area on the Warriors pre and post game live with your boy, former Warrior, former member of the Miami Heat, NBA champ. Can't wait to get Dorell's perspective. Also, shed a little light on what goes on out there at the Gatehouse. Gets rowdy. Our post-game show, due to technical difficulties, ended short Monday night after Curry scored 50 against the Hawks. Fans were going ballistic. And you know what the people at NBC Sports said? They said, yo, it's only going to get louder and louder and louder because this team isn't going anywhere.
I know. Wait till the headliner shows up.
Who,
Me.
E40?
Me. You know? It's that little guest appearance.
Where's the cricket sound? Or should I just... That's a good joke.
I'm holding out hope. What I'm actually going to do...
You are hoping out hope.
I'm actually going to do this one day.
You're just going to show up.
Well, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I know that's what you're going to do.
And you know what? Darrell's such a homie to me that I guarantee you he'll come over and say what's up, and I guarantee you're going to big time me. I already know it.
You know what I'm going to do? I can't go over there. I'm connected to the IFBs, man. It's gonna. I already got it ready to go.
Look at you.
Already got it ready to go.
Look at you.
Already got it ready to go.
So what's Mully say about me behind the scenes, huh? I don't know if you be listening.
Mully don't really talk about you. Loaded. No, you know what? Mully saw. I showed him a picture of us eating a lumpia from the Sharop shop. By the way, the name is slipping me, but one of the members of the Sharop shop came by the pregame set.
Oh yeah.
And he said, "Thank you guys very much."
That lumpia is off the hook,
dude. Everybody talks about
Center.
it. Everybody talks about it. The Impossible Lumpia. Everybody talks about it. But he came by and he said, "Thank you guys so much." He's good friends with my buddy Brian Duval from SF State.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, he goes, "Brian Duval told me all about the stories of you two in class." And I was like, "Oh, that's not good." We sat in the last row of this big auditorium hall, and that class was loaded. We were both single at the time, so we're not going to get in trouble. Loaded. But there was a lot of eye candy in that class.
I like my nachos.
Loaded. I do like fully loaded nachos, if you know what I mean. Look, we sat in the back of the class. We watched basketball highlights. The only class we really paid attention to that entire semester was a class when Mark Spears came to speak.
Oh.
And then we were like, we're into this one. Sports writer? Boom, let's go.
Mark Spears, good people, man.
Good people.
I barely know him as well as you do, and he always goes out of his way to say hi. He's just a good person.
Oh, yeah, you got to get him on the show soon.
I always judge people on how they treat you when no one's looking, right? You know, and it's just, he's a good dude.
We'll get him on the show soon. We'll get him back on the show.
He was one of those people like, hey, you don't move, Wiseman. Everyone relax. Everybody just chill out. And I'm really excited. You and I were actually talking yesterday on the phone, and we haven't seen the guy on the court yet. I just got this feeling. Everything feels so much better with this Warrior team. This kid's going to hit the ground running this year. I don't know what his role is going to be. I don't think he's going to, be playing 35 minutes a night. And I'm not saying he's going to get 18 shots a night. I just got a feeling he's going to fit much better with this version of the Warriors than others because they got pass-happy dudes who have high IQ and know where to get you the ball to where you could be the best version of yourself.
And that guy is James Wiseman, who obviously didn't have a training camp last season, didn't have a training camp this season, didn't get to play in Summer League in the past 2 summers. Summer League was, last year in the fall, but he didn't get to play in Summer League. Started off training camp, had COVID, had the wrist injury, came back, started playing better and better and better. Then he tears his meniscus. And he still had, I thought, a very productive season for a 19-year-old. And he was starting to figure it out. Now with Iguodala on this bench, and Bielitsa, and Looney talking to him. Now you have the new big man coach. I think Wiseman's going to be fine.
I do too.
And there's a couple plays where you see with Looney, and Looney's playing better and better and better. Looney plays his role.
He fits
the system. But there's a couple plays where Looney, you get the ball on the post and he'll pump fake.
Yeah.
Wiseman's just going to go up and dunk it and yam it because he's so explosive.
Well, and that high-low play that you were talking about earlier, they've been using GP2 in that dunker spot, even though he's like 6'2" or whatever. They're going to put Wiseman in there. That high-low play where Dre throws to Iggy throws up to someone else, that's how JaVale stuck around in the NBA.
Exactly.
Right? And you're seeing Steph Curry go over and talk to him in the middle of the game, be like, that's going to be where you're going to get the rock.
Right.
I think it's going to work a lot better this year. Last year off the bench, was there anyone who was a pass-first player?
No. Well, Wiseman's not a pass-first player.
Wanamaker.
I mean, excuse me, not Wiseman. Wiggins, I meant.
Pascal.
Oubre. Pascal, ball stopper.
Right? It just, the fit wasn't there. And I keep coming back to the same thing when it comes to this year's Warriors. Steph, yeah, okay, got it. And we know Steph's great. And he does, like, I can't overlook it because he's so great, but he has evolved his game, and this team has taken on his personality and the selflessness and the high IQ and the understanding of if I make the extra pass, we'll get a better shot. The whole team has bought into that. They've built a team, and they've got so many different parts, and that's the part that I keep going back to Wiseman. What's the one thing right now I look at this team that they don't have? Length at the rim, the ability to get up over the rim and yam it down, and some size down low.
Yet they're still out rebounding teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Even without Wiseman. So
I think he's going to be a shot in the arm.
No doubt. He's going to be a big-time shot in the arm. You got 2 shot in the arms coming. It's kind of like trades. You almost got 2 trade acquisitions coming in. That's how I look at it. All right, you get out to the 9-1 start. You have this roster here with Otto Porter Jr. now starting to pump in threes. He's shooting the ball better in 17 minutes. Gary Payton II's play well. It is 11 minutes per game.
He's such a weapon.
He's such a weapon. He's a pit bull.
He is.
He's a pit bull. And the adjustment to go to a box of 1 against Trae Young.
I loved it.
And Trae Young got lost.
Yeah, he did.
Trae Young got lost.
Well, and he was mad at his teammates, Trae Young, the other night. He's saying, well, I passed the ball up and we just didn't know what to do. It's like, no, you didn't know what to do.
You passed the ball and you just stood there.
Yeah. 50 feet away from the hoop.
You don't move around.
No.
That's the beauty of Stephen Curry. He knows I'm going to give the ball up, but I'm going to run circles around this defender, and I'm going to play off the ball.
Yeah.
One of the best off-the-ball players in the history of the game, Stephen Curry. So you bring in Wiseman, who to me is like a midseason acquisition. All right, now you add in Wiseman. And I love the fact that Wiseman said, I want to go to the G League. I want to play a little bit, shed some of the rust off,
I'm with
play
you.
a little bit. I like that. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Go to the G League. And I think Wiseman saw it. This is perspective here and maturity. Where you see Jordan Poole go down to the G League as a former first-round pick, and I know he was a lot lower than James Wiseman.
28th pick.
28th pick, and Wiseman obviously was a lottery pick at number 2 overall. You see Jordan Poole go down to the G League and say, damn, he's gotten so much better. Look how much has helped him. Just playing in 4 leagues or the G League bubble down in Orlando. All right, cool. I'm going to go down there, shed off some of the rust, get back in shape here in game shape. And then I'll come back up to the big league club. And then, if I have to come off the bench, I'll come off the bench and play 15, 20 minutes a game. That's fine. He's going to be able to make an impact. And then you get the biggest midseason acquisition in Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters in the league. So things are happening for the Golden State Warriors, man. There's a really good vibe around this team right now.
I'm going to sound like a psycho, and I am. I freely admit it. I was going back, and I was looking at highlights from those first 2 games that the Warriors played last year against the Nets and the Bucks.
Yeah, where they got blown away.
They did. But do you know who was the only other guy who showed up?
James Wiseman.
I think we've kind of forgotten that. I know it was really ugly at times, and they took some steps back. Those first 2 games, go back and watch the highlights. They have highlight packages on NBA.com, and you can check them out on YouTube.
He outplayed Giannis in that first half.
He looked so good.
He outplayed Giannis in that first
jumper.
Yes.
He had a fadeaway.
Yep.
He hit a 3.
Yep.
I mean, he was passing. Yeah, there was times where the ball would come to him in the open court, and he'd run right over somebody. Right? And he looked a little deer in the headlights at times. He showed up. He showed up, and I think people have forgotten. I think he had 17 in the first game. And
he had like 17 off the bench.
Yeah.
No, he started that game, but he had 17, and he played in the final minutes there.
He hit a couple
and he hit a couple threes
that were nice.
mid-range. And then even, I think about the game against the Clippers, right? And Wiseman made a mistake. I didn't take his COVID test or whatnot. He gets benched for the first 3 quarters of the game against the Clippers.
Yeah.
But what does he do? Instead of pouting, instead of stewing, goes out there in the 4th quarter, scores 14, and grabs like 6 or 7 rebounds. And I was like, okay, that's how you respond to that, big man. That's how you respond to that, big fella. So this guy, There was so much heat on him and so much noise on him. Trade this guy, trade this guy, trade this guy. I think the Warriors, the word patience is big here.
Yes.
They were patient. They said, we're not going to just blow it up and try to build this super team. We're not going to go out there and just try to get Ben Simmons. Now, there still may be a trade on the table for them. We'll see how Wiggins picks up his game here over the next 20 or next 10 to 15 games here. But they're in a great spot, Shasky.
Well, like anybody that's in any kind of business whatsoever, name the industry, what you want to be is ready to strike a deal at any time, but not desperate to where you have to strike a deal and you're the one that ends up on the losing end of that deal. Right? It's like in poker when you can tell someone has that desperate face on their hand and they're all in and they keep throwing their chips and they get toward the end and you're like, well, I've completely played you and suckered you out of all your chips. Right. And then we're about to, showcase the river here. And I know you're going to be, you got nothing. You got nothing in your hand. Right now, the Warriors are in such a good spot. They've built up the equity with the record. They have an opportunity to ease in Wiseman, ease in Klay Thompson. And if that opportunity presents itself, they can strike a deal, but they're not desperate to where they have to strike a deal.
They don't even need to think about that right now.
I know, but I'm saying they're in such a good spot now. And
they're in a great spot.
I love it. They're in the catbird seat.
All right, in a great spot and a great dude coming up next, Dorell Wright here on the Morning Roast.
He runs South Beach.
Go holler at my boy Miles at Prime 112, the owner. Definitely drop my name. I'm always good in the MIA.
He has his own commercials.
Thought I'd spice things up.
He's now taking over the dial as our 95.7 The Game Warriors insider.
Hey, Bonte, I don't play basketball no more. I'm a full-time golfer.
Hey.
Okay?
Here's Dorell Wright.
D-Wright joins us every single Wednesday, usually at around 8 o'clock, but we had to move him up a little earlier as Joe Lacob is coming to studio here at 8:15. Dorell Wright, this beat is a slapper. It fits Dorell Wright. He's all about L.A. He's all about L.A., but he's our favorite out here in the Bay, former Warrior, NBA champ, former Miami Heat, Dorell Wright. What's up, man?
What's up, fellas? I'm good, man. Just another day, baby. Another day to see the Warriors get another one.
Hey, Dorell, I'm watching you guys the other night, and Festus is like losing his mind. Bonte is so calm, cool, and collective. Those fans were going crazy behind you. How did you focus?
Oh, man, it's just like playing in a game, to be honest with you, man. You always hear the fans, but, being a professional athlete, you got this little thing in you where you could tune a bunch of stuff out, but yes, that last game for sure. Those fans were definitely the best ones so far after the post game.
What'd you think of Bonte Soprano's outfit that he had on the other day? Because you were looking sharp in that gray.
He was smooth. I was digging the peacoat. Yeah, that was smooth.
Hey, Dorell's going to show me up here. Wear some meek soon, man.
Hey,
he may have to come with the fur.
The gray looks really good.
The gray, Dorell's always fitted, man. He had the Gucci shoes on, man. I seen the Gucci's. Even when the security guards goes, man, look at those shoes. I thought he was talking about me. No. He's pointing at Dorell. I was like, oh, yeah, those just some Gucci's, man. That's just D-Wright being D-Wright. But you're right. Those fans were rabid. I couldn't hear Dorell. I couldn't hear Festus. And then our manager, Dave Percy's like, yo, it's only going to get louder out here because the Warriors are going to continue to win here. And let's start with Steph Curry.
Yes.
I mean, look, they're down 15 in the second quarter, and the crowd is quiet, and Steph keeps them in the game. And Dorell was all over it. He called everything that game. Look, Jordan Poole needs to step up in the second half. He did with 12. And then JTA coming off the bench. It's always a different guy for this team off the bench, Dorell.
Man, the JTA had a great game. It's just impressive to me how ready these guys are, how much they can turn it up in the third quarter. You watch them in the first half, and they kind of spar. You're like, man, what's going on? And then the third quarter, they just bust the whole game open. And it's just the ball movement. It's the defense. It's a little bit of everything. And then just those threes just hurting that other team. When guys are making back-to-back threes, you got JTA knocking down open shots. You got GP2 knocking down open shots. Those are backbreakers, and it's like, dang, if they making them, everybody else got it going. It's kind of hard to come back from those.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the Steph Curry culture, like just the team that they've built, it's not by accident. Like they tried tinkering with some of the roster last year, and they did the best that they could, but it feels like this year everything fits. You were a guy that played for the Miami Heat, and they have Heat culture, and they're about team building. And you obviously can see, you have a firsthand view of what the Warriors have built here, and they took a little lumps here, but just in terms of how different that is from all the other teams in the league that are just trying to assemble talent, I look at the team that they've built, and there's just a synergy there, Dorell, and I don't really have a question. It's just more an observation. What's your observation when you're looking at this squad that they've built?
One of the things, that separates the Warriors and what we had in Miami, Pat Riley was the champion. So he installed everything, the culture, how you carry yourself, what it takes to win. Here, these guys grew up together, Steph, Dre, Clay. So they were able to be one of the first ones to win a championship here in years. So when you come to this team, when you come to this organization, it's a championship organization. So everybody falls in line. They understand these guys have been there. They've done it at a high level. So you're going to follow Draymond. You're going to follow Clay and Steph and the things they say because they know what it takes to get a championship. So that's why when you see these guys like Delisa, Otto Porter, Iggy being back, they understand what these teams been through, and they understand once they came in Oracle those years, how hard it was to win and how much they used to, smack people around. So everybody falls in line. Then you got Coach Kerr being the leader of everything. So I think that's what separates the Warriors and different organizations.
Dorell Wright here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game, joining us as he does every single week as our Warriors insider, of course, co-host on Warriors Pre- and Post-Game Live. And we'll be out there at Chase Center tonight when the Warriors take on the T-Wolves here. Nice young roster. They've lost 5 games in a row, so the Warriors will be looking to add to their winning streak here in their home record as they finish up this 8-game homestand with 2 more, one against the T-Wolves tonight and then, of course, against the Bulls Friday. D, right, looking at Steph Curry, because you played with a young Steph. And now you see Steph in year 12, 13.
Man.
And this guy, can you just talk about how good he looks like physically? Like his body looks like it's in great shape. He looks stronger. He looks like the stamina's at an all-time high. What did you see from him when he was a youngster and how frail he was to what you see now?
Man, when he was younger, he didn't have the muscle mass. You could tell he's putting the work in the gym, on the court, obviously, with the weight room. And a lot of young players don't understand how important that weight room is. Just getting in there, getting the routine, whether it's before or after the game. Most guys like to do it before. Some guys like to do it after just because all that, the muscle mass you lose throughout a game. So going in after a game is super important. But, man, just his conditioning, too, his cardio, running off all those screens isn't easy. So I hope nobody out there thinks him just coming off screens, that's the easy thing to do. No, that's so hard to do. Your legs got to be strong. Your cardio got to be up there. So what I see with Steph is just a different player as far as his body. And he's really taking care of himself and really doing the proper things to stay in great shape so he can get knocked around, so he can get to the basket and finish different crazy layups. And so when a game is, down the line, he can make those long three-pointers to, basically dagger sometimes in games. So I think he's doing a great job of taking care of his body. He's come a long way from them early days in 2010. Looks like he got a few cuts in them arms now.
No doubt, yeah. Hit the creatine a little bit.
Heck yeah, you see them cuts in his arm now.
D, right, let me ask you this. You talk about how difficult it is to run off the ball the way Steph does. Who was difficult for you to guard off the ball? Who was similar? Yeah, probably Rip Hamilton, right? What makes it so difficult to trail these guys? Because it seems like the Hawks had a good game plan at first. And then it was like by the fourth quarter, it was like, man, you know what? You can have that open 3, dude. We're tired.
Man, the person that used to be annoying to guard was Richard Hamilton. Oh, my God. He used to come off a million screens. He was so crafty with catching the ball and stopping on a dime so you run up his back. And now he's creating fouls, and he was one of those dudes. Once he got it going, you might as well just say, man, you got it. Just like you said to Atlanta Hawks, because he's just so crafty coming off those screens and using his body. Then he's getting to the rim now. So Richard Hamilton, Ray Allen, those two for sure stick out the most as far as running off a bunch of screens and having to get through illegal screens. Most guys like Tim Duncan used to stick his butt out, so guard those type of guys like Ginobili. It's hard to get around them.
It is. It is. And nowadays, kids don't even know how to do a screen drill. I mean, we used to have to fight through those bad boys. You know what I'm talking about, Dorell. You're doing shell drills, screen drills, learning how to fight through them. The guy that I just love watching right now, and it goes back to the culture. The Heat are a team that they do this. They shine up somebody, and they're like, okay, this guy can do 2 or 3 really, really, really unique things on the court, and we're going to use him as a weapon. The guy that the Warriors have found is young Glove here. I mean, Gary Payton Jr. is a throwback kind of a player. We've all played against those guys like, oh, great. He's going to guard me all 75 feet up the court. Here we go. Oh, boy. And he provides energy, and I love that they're using him offensively in that dunker spot on that high-low play that they like to utilize. I mean, Gary Payton Jr., man, this guy's legit, isn't he?
Oh, man, GP2 is a problem, man. He's forcing Steve Kerr's hand to make him play him, and that's what it is when you come in this league. You want to force the coach's hand where you out there, you doing everything right, you defending at a high level, you knocking down open shots, and then you picking up 94 feet. Those are the type of guys that make the coach play him, and I think that's what GP2 has been doing, forcing Coach Steve Kerr's hand. And the funny thing is, I talked to DeLon yesterday. I was like, boy, GP was on you yesterday. You couldn't bring that ball up the court. He was like, man, he was denying me. I'm just like telling my teammates, just bring the ball up. I was like, yeah. I said, but that's what it takes to be annoying and be a pest. It reminds me a lot of young Avery Bradley. He used to be the same way. Ooh. And you heard him talk about Jameer Nelson at one time when he told him, come on, young fella, chill. That's how you got to be. When you got guys frustrated like that and trying to tell you, like, yo, you need to relax, that's when you know you're doing your job. But he's been playing some great basketball right now. The thing that sticks out the most to me is him knocking down those open threes.
Yeah.
And just the confidence he's shooting with.
Yeah. And the Young Glove nickname is it's so sick. In an era where there's not many good nicknames anymore, it's such a sick one. But when they put out Iggy, Draymond, and Young Glove out there together, like they have something unique that not a lot of teams have. They have a lockdown lineup. I love that squad together.
Yeah, and just the length that you see out there as well. Them guys being able to cover ground. All of them have quick hands. You can barely go up against those guys because they're going to slap down on the ball, and 9 out of 10 is going to be, either a steal or it's going to go off on your leg or something like that. So I think that group right there is a nice little group to go out there and definitely get stops and make a lot of teams frustrated. So I think it's going to be some more guys that's going to go out there. You even put a JTA out there with those guys, and it's going to be ugly.
No doubt, JTA bringing the energy Monday night against the Hawks. No doubt he joined us on set for the post-game show. That ended a bit early because it was so rowdy out there. The internet went out, Wi-Fi went out, all hell broke loose out there at the Gatehouse. But, Jordan Poole, we watch Jordan Poole and we talk about him. It feels like every single post-game show, D, right? In the last 4 games, 31 against the Hornets, solid defense against LaMelo, 26 against the Pelicans, 25 Sunday against the Rockets, and 16, even though it was 6-6, 17 from the floor. That second half, he really woke up. Can you talk about the growth of his game, not only offensively, but defensively as well?
Man, just being locked in and not letting makes and misses dictate your game. A lot of young players in the league, if you're missing shots, that means the rest of your game is going to be just bad. Veteran players can miss 10 shots in a row, but they still going to give effort and energy on the defensive end. They still going to make the extra pass. So I think him understanding that and learning, makes and misses don't dictate what type of game you have. So that's that type of veteran mindset, and I think that's what Jordan Poole is playing like. He's not letting his misses dictate how he's going to finish the game. So, and there's always more basketball to play. In the second half, he came out aggressive, getting to the basket, knocking down shots, and I like how he's letting the game come to him. Those games he struggled, I feel like he was forcing a little bit. He wasn't getting to that free throw line. He wasn't getting to the basket. He settled for a bunch of threes. But now he's just mixing it up. And when he's mixing it up and he's not playing with that ball too much, make a quick move, get to the basket, he's a much different player. So hopefully he keeps that up because, man, he's been playing some great ball. And, we talked about most improved at the top of the season, after his preseason. And if he keep playing like this, he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be up there for that award.
Yeah, he absolutely is. All right, let's get down to the real deal here. All right, Masterclass. It's this new app that me and Bonte have downloaded onto our phones. And Steph Curry, there's a lot of really cool ones. Like you can learn how to cook from Gordon Ramsay, skateboard with Tony Hawk. A lot of cool things on there. And there's got all these little lessons. They got this 3-point masterclass by Steph Curry. So me and Bonte have downloaded it, and we're going to go one-on-one.
Yeah.
So in about 6 weeks or so, we're going to be getting either we can go to a park. I don't care. I'll play anywhere. You know me, my game travels. And we might go into a gym. We need somebody to referee one-on-one, me versus Bonte. And I'm not asking you, will you referee? Because I know you will, because you're that kind of guy. I want to know who you're putting your money on, me or Bonte.
Oh, well, I'm going to keep it real with you. I might have to go with Bonte. He's a big guard. You know, he's like 6'5". And he a lefty, so I know the jumper got to look nice.
The jumper's going to be wet, baby. It's going to be wet.
Don't forget Andres Biedrins was left-handed.
I know he's a bigger guard.
And then we're going to have roasters partake in this, too.
Oh, really?
I think roasters are also going to be in, so we're going to have...
roasting us?
Yeah, roasting us. So there's going to be like 4 lucky listeners who partake in this 3-point shootout. So it's going to go down at some point.
Let's just put it this way. I'm already training, Dorell. Your boy's getting ready.
You know he is.
Yeah, he is. I got to get a hold of Justin Labat, City College, and get the full warm-up outfit so I can pull the sweats off and come off the bench. Like, I'm ready to start pulling.
The breakaways?
Hell yeah.
Come out with the whole swag then.
Yeah.
You got to have the breakaways. By the way, D, right, somebody said, so we got Joe Lacob coming to the studio in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And we got some people on the YouTube, D, right, they said, you should see our attire this morning. It looks like we got court after the show. Look like we're trying to fight some speeding tickets off.
Are you guys suited and booted?
Come on.
Well, I got the button-up shirt, but I got some jeans on with some J's. Shasky, I pull up in the garage. Shasky's got the button-up tucked into the khakis with the blazer.
Gotta look the part, Dorell.
I'm like, man, would you try to be a GM?
Hey, that's fire.
That's what I'm talking about. I try to take a couple pages out of your book, my friend. I see you looking dapper, and I got my monocle like I'm the guy from Monopoly. I'm like, I think I need to take a page out of that book.
Hey, when you stick your shirt in your pants, you go up 2 levels, so you good.
That's big. Oh man, come on.
Let's
Dude,
go.
right, this guy, man,
Let's
come on,
go.
dude. It looks like he's looking like a lawyer right now. By the way, people on the text line saying, man, they want to know how proud of you or proud you are of your little brother, DeLon, right? Because we always love seeing DeLon.
So cool.
We feel like he's a city native now.
Hell yeah.
We tell DeLon he's not from L.A. He's from city, man. This is where he grew up.
Man, I'm super proud. Just, we grew up in the hood. We from South Central. I was telling my son this a few days ago. Like, when I used to have to walk to school, we know the gang culture is heavy in L.A., and DeLon went to these same schools. I used to have to walk through 3 or 4 different hoods every single day. So for 4 years, that could have been my day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Going to school and being mistaken for someone. So just to see where I've come and then see my little brother follow the footsteps and make it through all the adversity that we had to go through as growing up in South Central, I'm super proud, making a living, doing something he loves, and doing it at a high level. So just to see him out there is just surreal. And, it lets me know that I did my job as being a big brother and setting the tone and showing him the right way.
No doubt.
Not being, a knucklehead and just getting in so much trouble where he didn't want to be like me. You know what I mean? So I don't think he still wanted to be like me just because I gave him a hard time as a kid. But he made his own way, and I feel like I had to set that tone and set the example because little bros is always watching.
No doubt, man. Well said, Dorell. Well said. And we saw the family out there represent DeLon. It's always fun seeing DeLon come back to the city. And I love the fact that Dorell on NBC the other day, Warriors pregame live, asked him about the lemon pepper lose.
Oh,
yeah. And he said he may have had some wings, but he wouldn't confirm where they were from.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't confirm, but I kind of think he didn't have them already.
Yeah, we got a little inkling. He's maybe had the Magic City specials.
Now that
we're
here, what's the spot in the Bay Area to get the best wings?
That's the question. You guys gonna have to tell me that.
Well, Kezar Pub used to have those fire wings, but that's like, get red stuff all over your lips.
Bonchon, Sang Tung's in the city. Sang Tung's got some really good wings. So those are the 2 wings in the city. East Bay, we'll need our roasters here to tap in with the East Bay to get the wings.
I'm thinking a wing off. between us three.
Wing golf, okay.
Yeah,
wow. That came out of nowhere.
Or do I eat the wings?
Both. I mean, I'm down for whatever. Let's do it.
I've never made wings, but okay.
Let's go.
Hey, man, look, I could eat wings all day, man. I don't want to do that, man. We put the camera on and the tally starts going up to 30, 35, man. Come on, man. I got 50 suits. I got 50 suits, Butch. Come on,
man.
Man.
To get smoked in this master class.
All right, man. I'll see you a little
you're
later,
a good one, man. Have a good one, dude.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you guys soon.
I love this guy.
All right. Dorell
He's the
Wright.
best.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
So down to
man.
earth.
Hilarious.
It must be really cool if you're Dorell Wright and you came straight from high school into the NBA and you were really, if he came out 10 years later, he would have gotten $100 million because he was a stretch 3 and D type of a guy.
Yep.
I mean, he was
3.
really like 10 years ahead of his time. He was an awesome warrior, and then to see his brother go to City College, and I remember going to games at City, and I'm sitting there going like, how are Cal and Stanford not all over this kid?
Man,
how are they not all over this kid?
Dorell was talking about his recruiting journey out of City, and the first visit he took was to Utah, and he signed right then and there. And Dorell's like, "What the hell are you doing, dog? Just signed to Utah?" It's like,
gave him love,
whatever. But you know what? He put the Utah Utes on the map and made the tournament. Got to play against Duke in the Sweet 16. Like, DeLon is a really cool kid, and he's the same guy. He's the same guy, man, that he was at City College. I remember at City. This dude and DM Parker was great. Jonathan Williams
Parker
was great.
Was nice.
John
Williams had that lefty stroke.
John Williams had the lefty stroke.
Yes.
He was good. He's
that
playing
team was loaded.
Dude, he's playing in Germany right now. Duron Sims
Dorsey,
is still
Yvonne
Dorsey out of Reardon.
Lakeview.
Colin Shiverton.
Yeah,
Shiverton. Out of Midi High School. Shiverton he's one of a kind, man. He's one of a kind. He hit 8 threes. He could shoot. Man, he got hot.
We're gonna go to some games this year or what?
Absolutely. They just beat East LA. That last chance team. They just beat East LA.
Shout out Coach Adam,
Coach Adam, Coach Justin, Coach Tom, man, those are my guys.
There might be a sweatshirt in my future. I'm talking this into existence.
Honestly, I was thinking about going up there right after the show and just pulling up on them. I need some football gear. I need some hoop gear. City always has the best gear, the black and red. The gear is always sick.
When he was the water cooler man at City College.
Mom, chill, Mom. Chill, Becky Tatum. All right, let's chill.
Are you ready for Joe Lacob in like 15 minutes?
25, but he's going to be waltzing in here soon. Yeah, 15 minutes. Joe Lacob, Joey Light Years. And I called him that one time. He's kind of laughed it off, but I don't think he likes it now. But you know what?
We'll ask him.
We'll ask him. Ask him at your own risk.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll walk right out the studio. Oh, Joey Light. Amateur. Just walk out here.
I'll give you my Joe Lacob story. We went down to Pebble Beach for the Pro-Am one year. When I first started working over here, it was like 2017, I want to say, 2018. And Joe Lacob is obviously playing in the Pro-Am tournament. Come walking by, and everybody's got their Warrior gear on, giving him high fives and clapping it up. And he was soaking it up. And just, had an opportunity as he was walking through. I put my hand out and said, thank you for the championships. Because as a Warrior fan, and I think that you have the same perspective, B, I never thought they'd ever win one ring.
One?
No, I really never did.
Remember when they did win that one in Cleveland? And I sat at home.
Me too. I was shocked.
I sat at home, and I didn't even go out that night.
Nope.
I sat at home, and I watched all the post-game stuff. And I said, these dudes don't even know how to pop the champagne. Like, the Golden State Warriors are champs.
They beat LeBron James.
They beat LeBron.
I don't care what the other circumstances were. They beat LeBron James and won a championship. I was stunned. And now we look at it 5 years later. It's like championship or bust. And it's kind of blown me away. And it's because of this guy. Like the ownership, Steph Curry, we know. That's definitely part of it. They have reinvested their money back into this team in every facet. The roster, the coaching staff, the players, paying more for the salary. Right. If you can't appreciate Joe Lacob, like I question your Warrior fanhood.
Coach Adam, City College.
What'd he say?
After smacking East LA in the Tip-Off Classic, they're 3-0 right now. Beat Yuba, who's a powerhouse.
Oh yeah, Yuba is.
Santa Rosa
they got all
JC.
them randoms.
Santa Rosa Junior College is a powerhouse. They beat them, and then they smacked East LA by 29 after falling behind 9-0.
Okay.
Said, come on through. We got gear for you.
Let's go.
Let's go up there. Let's show some love to the Rams.
Yeah.
We're going up there, because free is us, baby. Hey, we're all about that free 99 movement.
It's me and give me
We're
3.
all about that. But to your point about the Warriors, growing up, we were so used to them being on the back page by January because they were so bad. I mean, their front page, Steiny always talks about it. They used to tell us in January, hey, no need to go on the road, go on vacation or whatnot. Like, you're on the beat, covering the team, and you're like,
Steiny must have loved that.
You don't even have to travel. You don't even have to travel anymore. Just go take a vacation.
Well, you know what the biggest day of the year was when I was a Warrior fan?
What's that?
Like
draft day.
Draft day.
Draft day.
100% draft day. And
False
it was
hope.
all year round.
False hope.
I mean, all year round. Every single time.
We thought we were getting stars here, but I remember sitting with Kolsky game one of those finals against LeBron.
Yeah.
And Kolsky and I sat next to each other the whole series. And I'm like, the Golden State Warriors are playing against LeBron
James.
Kyrie, Kevin Love. I was like, you couldn't even simulate this on NBA 2K.
No.
You couldn't.
No.
And the fact that they won that series and won a championship, and then that first parade. I don't know if you went to the first parade in Oakland.
Yes.
It was amazing.
On maybe the nicest day of the year.
The nicest day of the year.
Yeah.
And see all those Warrior fans out. It was unreal to be out there, man, to see the Warriors celebrate a championship.
Well, and the other part, to just take a step further, as city boys, you and I grew up in this neighborhood, in this city over here. We know exactly what was over there where Chase Center resides
Look,
now.
I got to cut you off, Shasky. Roasters, it's your lucky day.
Why?
Instead of 8:15, we just got word that Joe Lacob wants to come in early.
Oh,
he wants to come in at 8 o'clock and spend an hour with your boy.
Oh, okay.
So instead of 45 minutes, we got 60 minutes with the
I'll
owner
wax
of the
poetically
Golden
about the
State
stadium when he
Warriors.
comes in.
Yeah, let's do it. Joe Lacob coming up
Let's
next here on the
go.
Morning Roast.
This year's holiday season theme is togetherness, and Lucky California has deals that will bring everyone together at the table. This week, pork roasts, tri-tip roasts, hams, and whole turkey breasts are all buy one, get one free.
Each with one unlimited mobile line for a year as of 10/6/21. Reduced speeds after 20 gigs of mobile usage.
You're listening to KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Station. Presented by DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified. It's time to wake up with a nice cup of morning roast. Featuring Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Presented by Timeless Coffee. This is the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, baby. What a day. A Warrior Wednesday here at 95.7 The Game. Don't forget, tickets are still available for tonight's action against the T-Wolves. Go to Warriors.com. Don't go to those other sites. Get the real thing. Authentic tickets at Warriors.com. Warriors and T-Wolves tonight as the Warriors are 9-1. They're on the roll here. And we're on the roll, Shasky. We got the owner of the team in the building.
This is unbelievable.
Joe Lacob. Joe Lacob decided he wanted to come by and talk to the guys on the morning roast. The roasters are loving it here on YouTube and Twitch. And Joe Lacob, good morning, man. Welcome to the studio.
Well, good morning to you guys. It's a little early for me, I have to admit. When I get up for basketball, I play basketball twice a week. When I get up for that, man, no problem getting up. 6:10, I'm there. Get up for golf, no problem. But if I got to get up for work, it's a little harder.
So who are you as a basketball player? Are you Draymond Green or are you more Steph Curry?
Oh, my God. I am so old now. It's hard to even tell what I am. But I'm mainly, if you talk to the guys I play with, I stand around and shoot threes, I'd say.
So you're Steve Kerr, basically, when he was with the Chicago Bulls. You're a spot-up shooter.
I'm an old Steve Kerr.
You're Steve Kerr past his prime here. So, you joined us at NBC a couple weeks ago, and you're joining us here on the Morning Roast, making your debut here. And you talked about the rebirth of Chase Center.
Yeah.
The rebirth of Chase Center. And it feels like, that first season, obviously, Steph Curry gets hurt in game number 4 against the Suns. He comes back against the Raptors later that year. And you saw a little glimpse of what it could be. Now the rebirth of Chase. You have this 8-game homestand, and it feels like the crowd is getting louder and louder every single game. You see Thrive City. Everything's happening out there. Can you talk about the rebirth of Chase Center for a second here? Because it feels like it's finally getting a soul. And finally, people are saying, okay, this can be as loud as Oracle Arena.
Yeah, well, the truth is, this feels like year one.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, it's our third year in the building. It's hard for me to even remember that. But both years were interrupted, so I think this is kind of, and our team wasn't very good. The first year, terrible timing, right? Steph gets injured in what was it, the 5th game or something like that? And, it was a rebuilding deal, and even last year was to some extent, and Clay's been out. So I think the truth is, this feels like the first year to me. And to a lot of people, I think, and we're going to see this develop. And, how loud is a building really gets down to memories, right? We kind of create all this.
Absolutely.
Imagery. I mean, it's loud, I can tell you, because I actually checked the, decibel. We designed it. We know exactly what it's capable of. It's a loud building. It's a tight building. It's got everything, all the sight lines. I mean, we designed it that way. Yeah. So we know it's there, but we need to give them something to really yell loud about.
Absolutely.
We're doing that.
You know, me and B were talking about this, and one of the things that we grew up in the city, and we know what that area looked like before the Giants built, before you guys put your stadium there, and the vision that you guys have put together out there is just unbelievable. There's shopping, there's food, there's the Warrior team store. It's just an incredible addition to the city, and the fact that, and you've said this before, there was no world-class venue for music, for basketball, for NCAA events in the heart of San Francisco. It's kind of unbelievable that you guys were the ones to have this vision, and I love going to that stadium.
Well, look, the truth is it's really hard to do for anybody.
Yeah.
In California or anywhere, but especially in the Bay Area, this is just a hard place to get something like that done, and we were on a mission to do it. Our building, though, had a lot of great memories in Oakland, was the oldest in the NBA, and from a standpoint of our fans and all the things that we felt that they deserved, we just knew we were going to need a new building. And so we went about doing it. San Francisco wound up being the place where we went. You know, you have to kind of go where you can get the land. We had to buy the land, in fact. So the truth is, it's in a great place. We lucked out a little bit. Things happen. We built it. We're extremely happy with it. We love that building. I mean, honestly, I go in that building, I get shivers. I get the shakes every time I go in there. I can't believe how good it feels and how good it looks. And for those that haven't been, come to a game.
Oh, it's awesome.
Keep coming because it's going to get crazy this year.
Well, and I was going to say, like, my wife and I, we've been to a couple different events out there. When you first allowed fans back in, we had to show the vaccine cards and stuff. This is before the Clear app and everything started coming through. And she was just blown away at all the different things you could do before, after the game. It's just so fan friendly. Even if you're just a casual basketball fan, there's so much to do inside there. And she was dressing up, and it was just great to go downtown in San Francisco and have an event to go to. It was awesome.
Well, we appreciate you saying that, but the truth is, it's going to get better. I mean, much, much better.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, the restaurants now with COVID, we're getting through that.
Yes.
They're just starting to open up. We have, you know, Gott's, and we have Miller and Lux now, which is a great new restaurant.
Yeah. Dumpling time.
Dumpling time. Yeah, dumpling time.
Awesome.
How good is that? So and we got more coming. So the truth is, it's just going to keep getting better as the year progresses, and as the years progress. And we're very proud to have built this arena. It's something it's great for the city, great for the Bay Area,
Absolutely.
and you know, can't wait for the memories to be made.
No doubt. Well, Steph Curry made some memories the other night, scoring 50 and dropping 10 assists, becoming the oldest player to do so against the Atlanta Hawks. And you got the other guys helping out, Jordan Poole, JTA. And we'll get to the basketball stuff in just a second when you talk about memories, because March Madness is coming to Chase Center. And I love college basketball. You have a doubleheader this weekend. And then the concert series. You got the concerts back in play. Chappelle was in the building Saturday night. So you got the concerts back. You got basketball rolling. Business is booming again for the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, we've had, I think, 12 or 13 concerts now already, and more booked. And they've been really, really outstanding. Chappelle and the Eagles, and you know, I'm not going to every one. I can't go every night to the arena, but I'm going to a lot of them. And
you don't have your own room in the arena yet?
Well, yeah,
but a little something there. You can just stay there overnight.
Yeah, not a bed exactly, but I don't think my wife would like that too much. But honestly, sometimes I don't want to leave.
Right. We'll talk about the community fund, because the other day you guys granted a lucky nonprofit $1.85 million. And Raymond, I think to my recollection, the last 9 years, you guys have granted $15 million in the community here. Can you talk a little about that?
Actually, $25 million.
Oh, it's 25.
$25 million in San Francisco, Alameda County, I guess, actually, and in San Francisco, being the primary beneficiaries. And actually, we just awarded on Monday, I think it was. We had a presentation on the court. We had a foundation board meeting. I mean, I was so proud of that group, and my wife, who chairs it. We've done from nothing to $25 million of real dollars that have been given away, all towards education, underprivileged kids. And honestly, it's what we should be doing as a great, as a member of the community. And I think hopefully our fans remember that kind of, even this year, a COVID year where we lost a lot of money, to be honest.
Right.
We wound up setting a record for what we gave out. So our owners all stepped up, actually put money in to make up the difference, and including me. And we'll hopefully be back on with our poker tournament this year and all the stuff we do for fundraising, and continue the tradition.
That's awesome. One of the things talking about memories, growing up, I couldn't even point out the prior owner. I mean, if he walked down the street, I wouldn't even know what he looked like. And that's not a shot at him. It's just a reality. I love when I'm watching the game and I'm seeing you and you're going crazy in the front row and you're fist pumping and Steph's hitting threes. I mean, you're one of us, though. And I think that's the thing that really endears, Warrior fans to you and you to Warrior fans, because, you love the team and you obviously love this community and want to see them win. And it's just so unique because we didn't get that before.
Well, look, I think to be a good owner of a sports team, you need to be a fan.
Yeah.
You need to be into it, man. You need to be passionate. And, I mean, that's what I am. I love basketball. I've been wanting to do this all my life. And I'm here now. I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
You should.
I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Even the last 2 years were not great. After 7 great playoff years, 5 finals, 3 championships. But you know what? The way we looked at it was a chance to build for the future, to get these young guys in, to get ready, to try to get back as soon as possible so we can have another great decade. So, look, it's a passion. I love the business side and the architecting side, but I also, more than anything, love the basketball. That's what we're here for. I love it. So, you see me going crazy at that. That's because I am a fan. Number one, I am a fan. I mean, and being an owner, yeah, sure, that's important. But the truth is, I'm a fan at heart. That's actually why I'm there.
Warriors majority owner Joe Lacob live in studio here on 95.7 The Game, talking Warriors basketball, what they're doing in the community. I'm looking at Raymond Ritter here, the great Raymond Ritter. And when Joe Lacob saying, man, I'm just a fan. I wonder what Raymond was thinking when last week Jordan Poole got the technical. And I see Joe Lacob there. He's having his own little conversation with the referee. And I'm thinking, Raymond Ritter's probably thinking, I need to run across the court and contain my owner. What's going on there? Because you are a fan. And I've never seen you as locked in as you are now after this 91 start.
I mean, it's back, baby. That's all I can say. We're back. And it's exciting. And you can feel it. It's this feels like 2014-15 to me. And I think it does to a lot of other people, too. I mean, we've got a really unique team, very deep. We've got, all the passing going on, all the ball movement, the Steve Kerr system. Everything's feeling good. And we just need to, keep the injuries away and continue to do it.
So did you envision this 9-1 start? Because a lot of people are thinking, how are they going to start off against the Lakers? They're going to get out-rebounded. But you guys are out-rebounded people. You talk about the ball movement. And once you keep the turnovers down, it does look like beautiful music out there. It's like it feels like you guys are playing like jazz music, so smooth. Did you envision a 9-1 start?
Well, I wouldn't say that, no. I mean, I didn't really think about the actual start. I have a number that I predicted. I do this every year. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Oh, come on.
But no, the beginning of the year, I have a number I put on, and I bet Bob Fitzgerald, actually, we have this thing going every year. We predict how many wins we're going to have and where we're going to finish in the seedings. And I'm an optimist. I'll just tell you generally. But the truth is, my number is probably higher than most of you guys or most of the people on the radio.
So over 50 then.
I'm not going to say what it is.
I thought you guys had finished top 4 in the West. On the record, both of us.
I thought I did say that on the radio broadcasts and so on, and things I've done. I said, look, I think we should be top 4 in the West. So I'll give you that much. Right. And I just think that Bob and Kirk and the group have done such a good job of architecting this team this year.
Yeah.
We got the right guys in the offseason. Forget how much they make, okay, or whether they're making a mid-level or this or that or which one we're using. The point is to get the right guys that fit what you're trying to accomplish. And obviously, at least so far, it looks like we've done that. And of course, Gary Payton has been another great addition. I mean, that was a tough one, to whether we do the 15th spot or leave it open strategically. But he's the guy we felt could really help us. And he's really doing a great job.
So given that you said that, because we agreed, the team building aspect is so important. They're so much better this year. Everything fits. It's great having Iggy back. But how do you block out all the noise of all of the pundits? And I mean, they're all over the internet, the radio, podcast, television, where they're saying you're wasting Steph Curry's
prime. Are you guys
prime.
pundits too?
No.
I mean, we can be. But we kind of... We were on board with what you guys did last season. I think both of us with Wiseman, because we like Wiseman. We think he could be really good. He's a bright young man. We love Kuminga. We drove up to the California Classic to watch Kuminga in the first 5 minutes.
Guy.
We said, man, this guy's he's something else. And then Tim Roy walks by us and goes, this guy reminds me of Ron Artest. Yep. I'll take that all day. Minus the off-the-court stuff, of course, no doubt. But the pundits, there was a lot of noise about wasting Steph's prime. How did that bother you? Because you read
it drove me crazy.
A lot.
It drove me crazy, actually. And I did comment on it to the extent I could back in this, even in the spring and in the summer. We're not wasting anything. We have the highest payroll in the history of the NBA by a long shot. So we are all in. We're going as far as we can. People talk about what they're not realizing when they say, oh, we got to go trade all those draft picks for some player or whatever. They're not looking at how things might actually fit. Okay? They're also not looking at what I have to look at and Bob has to look at, which is the future. You will hate me. You may like me short term, but you will hate me long term if we go and do something that's dumb, that we, 2 years from now, we are off a cliff. So we can't go off a cliff. We have to sort of balance things. We have to figure out how can we be as good as we can possibly be now and be good in the future. And I know a lot of people that I coined that phrase, bridge to the future, I think on one of the shows here, and I got some criticism for it. I read it, I hear it, but you got to just ignore it. You got to do what you think is right. And I'm 65 years old. I've been watching basketball for a long, long time. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I got a lot of people that are experts around me, but we all sit in a room and we kind of architect it and figure out what we think is the right thing to do. And we felt this was the right strategy. And so far, it looks good. Now, I admit our schedule hasn't been the hardest. Right. I'm not going to deny that. We got to go prove this over a longer period of time. But you just look at the style and the type of basketball and the energy and the passion. There's just something about this team that just feels pretty right.
No, we feel the same way. But take me back to the last year or so. You guys are having these conversations. You, Bob, I'm sure Steve Kerr's in there. How do you resist the temptation to be all in on the now and trade everything away and still keep that long-term view? Because I'm sure there's kind of some, creative differences as you go along the way. So how did that look like for you guys in those rooms?
We even have creative differences all the time inside our organization. I mean, we're kind of semi-famous for this, where we have a lot of big arguments, and you're encouraged to do it. I set this up from when we first bought the team. I said, you better have an opinion, or you shouldn't be here, or you can't be here. I like it. And so we do that. We get behind the closed doors. You guys don't ever see it, and we go at it. That could be Coach Kerr, it could be Bob, it could be Kirk, it could be Larry Harris, it could be Mike Dunleavy. It doesn't matter. The coaches, we go at it, but we all emerge with a consensus. We emerge with a consensus, and then we're all on the same page, and we go for it. And there's bumps maybe here and there, and we'll make adjustments here and there. But I feel like we do a pretty good job of doing that. And that's the way you vet through these situations. And you do what you think is right, not what some guy on the radio says is right.
So the social media aspect of it, I mean, do you got a burner Twitter account? Like, how are you keeping up on all this? I'm sure, I'm serious. How does this stuff come to your table? Like, I'm sure you're watching, you're listening to things, because we get frustrated because there's at times it's like, guys, there's a salary cap. There's only so many moves that we can make out here.
And the luxury tax.
Yeah, and there's the Uber acquisition alone. I go, do you know how much money that these guys have put their money where their mouth is to pay to have this guy come on the eve of the draft with Clay getting hurt? This is the best they could do. And I've run a business, and I understand the trials and tribulations that COVID exists and has brought to the table, but also just the NBA cap in general. How do you navigate the social media just anger that's out there?
Raven Ritter.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think you would probably say, I ignore it. Maybe people might think I do that, but I don't.
It's hard to.
I don't ignore it. I read it all. I'm on Twitter. Oh. I don't tweet. I have never tweeted. But Raymond Ritter's sitting over there with a knife to my throat. But, I mean, I just don't. And that's been a hard thing, let me tell you. Because you read these things. I'm human. You want to tweet back something, right? But I don't do it. I just don't. But I do read it all.
How many times have you drafted something up and then deleted it?
No, I've not gotten that far.
Okay,
I've mentally gotten that far, baby. But the truth is, what you have to do is if you're going to be in this business, you're going to do what I do. You've just got to have a thick skin, and you've got to realize that people all have a right to have their opinions. Yeah. That's what fandom is called, by the way. We all have our opinions. I had them too before I was an owner, and you always think you know more than the guy that's doing it. So the truth is, I do read it all. I like to know what people are thinking. I listen. I read everything. I spend a lot of my day just constantly up on what people are saying, what they're doing. But the truth is, I kind of ignore it all. At the end of the day, I kind of put it all together and say, all right, what's our plan? What are we doing? Is that a good take? Is that not a good take? Does that matter? Does that fit into what we're thinking? We think about it all. We talk about it all. I'm on the phone with Bob 4 or 5 times a day.
It's like me and him. Yeah. That's how you have to be if you want to be successful. You got to live, eat, breathe it.
If you don't do that, here's the truth. If you don't do that, you won't know what's going on. You won't be up on it. I always like to say, the way people ask me, how did you turn the Warriors around? How are we so successful? I say, here's the reason. It's every little thing. There is no one big thing. Right. Every little detail. You got to be maniacal about it. You have to be maniacal about it. And so that's what we do.
What's the biggest thing that you think, or something that you see that you think misrepresents you, or the biggest misnomer about you?
About me?
Yeah, just in general, or the way the team has been
I don't really
run.
care what they say about me so much, to be honest. I mean, I'm supposed to take the hits for when things don't go right, and I'm fine with doing that. I don't usually get much of the credit, but that doesn't really bother me so much. The fact is, winning is what matters, and making people happy, and butts and seats, and all those things. Those are the kinds of things that matter. I guess the thing that bothers me is when they say things about people in my organization. You know, Bob Myers this, or Bob Myers can't select, doesn't know how to draft, or, you know, Kent Lacob picked this guy come in, and that was a mistake. Well, the truth is, we always are trying things. You're not going to succeed all the time. And remember I said they're group decisions.
Right.
There's no one person responsible for any of those things. If anybody you want to blame when we do something wrong, it's me. And that's the truth, because I do have the ultimate say. But the truth is, we are together. We make these decisions. People suggest things. And then some things go right and some don't go right. That's a business. That's how it goes. This business. Hey, here's the great thing. You get to find out pretty quickly in sports.
Right.
There's wins and losses.
You get your mistakes, or you can move on, do something better, fix it.
Joe Lacob live in studio here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. Of course, the majority owner of the Golden State Warriors. They take on the T-Wolves tonight. Tickets still available at Warriors.com. Go to Warriors.com for some tickets. Big game tonight as the Warriors try to improve to 10-1 on the season. A red-hot start here. They could go 7-1 possibly on this 8-game homestand. 8-game homestand, of course, ties for the longest in franchise history. So you talk about personnel decisions and groupthink here. How much input do you personally have on the personnel decisions?
Well, the politically appropriate thing to say probably would be, I let people do their job, and I do. But I am pretty involved in everything. I mean, I'm going to have to be honest about that, whether it's a business decision or a basketball roster decision. Even the 15th spot, you would think, why do I have to be involved in that? But the truth is I am, because I'm really probably the person that's all over this, maybe more than everybody, because it's what I love and what we're doing. And I'm involved. I know what's going on. I don't overrule people very often. If they've come to a firm decision, they've got their analysis, that's it. We go with it.
Including the draft?
Yeah, including the draft. I will tell you the draft, that's very true. We can sit here and say who liked Wiseman, who liked this guy. We could do that all day long. There's all kinds of views on that. But at the end of the day, it's a group thing. We come to a group decision for a lot of different reasons, and we pick who we're going to pick. And hopefully we're right, more often than not. But, we've been wrong too.
The proof is in the pudding. I mean, you guys have had the greatest success this area has seen. Coaching staff-wise, what went into some of those decisions in terms of tinkering the coaching staff? Because you guys have always been kind of, bringing the best of the best in. And that's the one area with Steve and yourself and Bob. You guys will shed no expense when it comes to adding to the staff. What went into the thought process of kind of tinkering with that bench this year?
Coaching staff.
Yeah, coaching staff-wise.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious to a lot of us that, we felt we needed to do a better job of player development. I think we had done a good job in certain respects. You can point back to certain players we've developed. But I think we needed to do a better job. And Steve also probably felt that he needed to have an injection of new ideas. Sometimes when you've been together for a long time, 7 years with a coaching staff, you kind of need some new ideas injected into it. And so all of that kind of came together, and we said we can probably impact winning more by going out and getting 3 guys that completely add something new to the development capabilities of the team, and new ideas and I think that's been true already, and I think it will continue to be true. And remember, we knew we were going to have 2 lottery picks coming in this year. We had one last year, and Jordan Poole's a recent guy. So that's 4 young guys, the 4 young studs, I think, going forward. It doesn't have to happen overnight, but it does have to happen over a period of a few years. And I think we wanted to have the very best people in place to help impact their development.
Well, Steph Curry, obviously 50 points the other night against the Hawks. Is this the best basketball you've seen Steph Curry play? Including last year, the last 2 months, where he basically averaged 37, 38 a game.
I don't know. It's hard to pick. I mean, the guy is so incredible that it is hard to pick. He was unbelievable last year. He, frankly, was unbelievable, has been unbelievable for years. So he's really good. We are all so lucky. I am incredibly lucky to have him on our team. And remember, he's the only guy on our roster that was there before I got here. I didn't pick him. He was picked by the previous regime. He was here for 1 year. He wasn't Steph Curry like we know today, maybe. Right. And we did have some decisions along the way, as we all know, contracts and this and that, and the ankle and this and that. But the truth is, he is a treasure. He is unbelievable. And not only, as we've said, as a basketball player, but off the court, he's just an amazing human being. We're so lucky. He helps everything the rest of us do, to be so much easier to do it, frankly.
Absolutely. I mean, Tom Brady in the culture, Tim Duncan in the culture. I mean, these are guys that you absolutely need. How much does he go into the decision making when you guys are talking about the 15th spot or some of the young draft picks? I mean, Bob's talked with us at times saying, at some level there's a partnership. How much input do you guys allow Steph Curry to have in some of these decisions?
Well, that's an interesting question that you're asking. You have to talk to your stars, for sure, before a big decision. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, they are players, and that's not what they get paid for. They get paid to play, right? That's what they are great at. We pay Bob Myers a lot of money and Steve Kerr a lot of money to coach and to make the kind of roster decisions. And so I have to rely on them primarily when it comes down to situations like that. That isn't to say that Steph or Clay or Draymond, particularly Draymond, he definitely speaks up.
We'll get to him. We're going to get to that.
but the truth is, they have to have input. But I think they would understand by me saying this here today that they can't be the primary decision makers, and that's not their job.
Absolutely.
And they're probably not. Maybe they'll be good at it someday, but they can't. Steve and Bob have had a lot more experience doing that. And so that's what they're here to do. So again, we take input from everybody and we put it all together in a pot, swish it all together, and then we come up with the answer.
Draymond Green is a special player since we're here. And a lot of people are texting in about you possibly buying the 49ers. They want you to own the 49ers. We'll get to that stuff and WNBA stuff a little bit later.
I got enough to do.
Yeah, exactly. But look, Draymond Green, 3-time champ, DPOY. He's a heart and soul, I think. Others go to say Warriors
awesome
team.
This
He
year.
looks great this year to start the season. But he did have some off-season comments. He sat down with Kevin Durant, who we all love out here in the Bay. Well, a lot of people love. Some people don't. But Kevin Durant was special. What did you think of that sit-down when you heard those comments with Kevin Durant and Draymond Green about that situation a couple years ago? I know you're tired of answering it, but we've heard from different people like, man, could he just not say all that?
Well, I'll let you comment for the most part on that situation. To me, it's old news.
Right.
It's 3 years ago. I mean, who cares?
Well, not that situation, but maybe the sit-down with Kevin Durant.
The sit-down was now, but it was about something 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And look, Draymond, I think, has probably set his career aspirations after basketball, and he wants to be who knows? Maybe he'll be on that TNT show for all we know. I don't know. And he might be really good at it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think there has to be some of that maybe in his that's why I did the interview. People want to hear what he has to say. But it's old news, and maybe it went well, sat well with some people, and maybe it didn't sit well with others. But we're moving on. We're not going to worry about that. And I don't think Draymond meant to create quite as much ruckus as he did. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, no. We got Klay Thompson coming back at some point this year. Draymond, Steph, Klay being together this long for the Golden State Warriors in this era in the NBA. It's unprecedented. Like nobody keeps three players together this long in this era. How excited are you guys for Klay to come back?
I mean, that could be the most emotional day, maybe of certainly my ownership history when he comes back. And for every Warrior fan, it just might be. It could turn out to be one of the greatest moments like in Warrior or NBA history. I mean, or certainly Warrior history. Yeah. It's going to be an emotional day. And I'm looking so forward to it. It's going to be, look, Steph and Klay. I think Raymond's here. Steph is the longest tenured player with anyone, his original team in the league. Is Klay number 2? Number 2. Klay is number 2. Think about this for a second.
Unbelievable.
Now, that's continuity, we call that.
Absolutely.
It's important. And it's also loyalty. On their side and ours, and on our side, and because players are free agents and they can go do what they want. I respect that right. Kevin Durant wanted to come; he wanted to go.
Right.
I'm not mad at him.
He was a great Warrior.
So, but these guys have been with us for a long time. They mean a lot to us. Just like Buster Posey meant a lot to the Giants fans the other day when retiring. And all that. So it's going to be a very meaningful moment.
There's no doubt about that. A decade in the Bay with Steph, Dre, and Clay, no doubt. Continuity here. You talk about the Celtics' big three. That trio will be up there amongst the great trios in NBA history. Joe Lacob live in studio here in 95.7 The Game. And speaking of Klay Thompson, people love Clay. You got China Clay. You got Toaster Clay. You got Game 6 Clay.
Yep.
And now you have Captain Clay on the boat. So, one, have you been on the boat?
Yes.
And two, do you get a little worried when he's out there driving a boat with the red cup full of coffee?
I mean, I have not been on the boat. Hey, Clay, come on. You haven't invited me. What's going on here?
Do you have a bigger boat than him? That's what I want to know.
I don't have a boat. I'm not a boat guy.
Oh, okay.
But I will say, if I think about it, I guess I could get worried a little bit because those waters are a little rough out there. But look, Clay's Clay. You're not going to stop him from doing what he wants to do, and that's what we all love about him. When Clay first joined this team, my wife Nicole likes to point this out. You couldn't get him to talk 2 words.
Right.
Like the guy couldn't talk. I mean, I'm sorry to say, it was unbelievable, and it just shows you how people develop in their 20s. They emerge and become who they are. And Clay's personality is huge and so much fun. And I think that's the thing I'm so proud of. And that's what's great about having people be with you for a long time. You get to see them develop.
Absolutely.
Right? And Clay's he's a great guy, man. I love Clay. Everyone knows I have a special thing for Clay. I mean, I could never let Clay go anywhere. I love Clay.
So what do we got special planned this year at Chase Center for these guys? I mean, obviously we're going to have the Clay return game at some point. I noticed there's no statues yet outside that bad boy. I'm sure one day Steph, Dre, and Clay will have their opportunity. But have you guys thought about when or who that first statue might be? Al Attles, Wilt Chamberlain, Rick Barry?
I think our guys are working on stuff like that, thinking about it. But the truth is, these guys are active players. They got work to do.
Yeah.
And that's for retirement days. That's a whole nother thing.
Not thinking about that. Hopefully they don't retire for a long time.
Yeah, hopefully for a long time.
Well, no, that's obvious.
You said you always wanted to do this, be an owner of a team or be involved in sports or whatnot. What are some of the owners you looked up to growing up or that you look up to now? Because a lot of people around here say, man, Joe Lacob is the modern day Eddie DeBartolo. We grew up with Eddie DeBartolo. He was volatile at times, but he wanted to win. And you remind us that. Spent all, and you spend at no expense, no doubt about it. But who are some of the owners you looked up to coming into this game?
I didn't really think about owners, to be honest. I was a fan. I was thinking about players and coaches and things like that. But certainly Eddie DeBartolo. I've been here for 40 years in the Bay Area, even though I grew up on the East Coast. And Eddie DeBartolo you mentioned him, he does ring a bell because he was so, I kind of love that image of being so, even the other day I was at, I won't say where I was, but I happened to be at having a drink with Jerry Rice. And Jerry Rice and I were talking about Eddie DeBartolo. Even then, we were talking about what that family atmosphere was like around the 49ers in the great heyday. And I was here. I've had a suite at the 49ers for over 30 years. Oh. And big 49er fan. And I remember those days. And, the thing about it is, Eddie DeBartolo, there was something about that he did, that culture, that family atmosphere, that spend whatever, if you want to call it that. I don't think it's just commitment, And so I think he stands out amongst owners. But I'm sure if I thought about it, there would be some others.
Well, are there any contemporaries that maybe motivate you in sports? Like, because the New England Patriots and Bob Kraft and Belichick and what they've built over the years. The Spurs were a model organization. Everybody wants to be the Lakers. I remember you coming on the airwaves when you first owned the team, like, we're going to be the Lakers at some point. That's what our goal is to be the best. Is there a team out there or an organization that maybe motivates you guys to be better?
I mean, clearly there are about 7 teams in the NBA. I'm not going to name them today, but that I think are really well run, and we really all as an organization respect across the board. I say around 7, and but I have to be honest, we're our own thing, and we want to do it our way, which may be different, it may be similar, but it may be different in other ways, and that has its roots in me growing up in Boston and in LA with Showtime and Celtics in the '60s, and has its roots in some other things too, being in Silicon Valley for a long time and how companies are run there, and so it has there's a lot of different things that go into it. So I'd say for the most part, we want to create our own image, our own vision of how a sports team should be run, and I think we've tried to do that. I do respect certainly the Spurs, what they were able to do on the court for so long. I think that's fantastic. I respect, a lot of what the Celtics did. I respect Miami. I'm not going to name them all, but a couple of organizations that I think they really run well. But again, we take from all of them the good parts and then try to avoid the bad parts that we see other places and put it all together and say, how can we be the best? Because our goal isn't to be comparable. Our goal is to be better. Our goal is to be the best and maintain being the best every single day. That's all I think about.
What's one of the biggest mistakes you made in the last 10 years as you try to become the best team in the NBA? What's one mistake you wish you could have back? Let me ask that.
We haven't made a lot. We've done well. But it depends if you're talking the business side or the basketball side.
Let's go basketball.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to put the onus on any particular players here or there, but we probably should have listened last year a little bit with the fit of some of the players. So a couple players we brought in, it wasn't quite right. I mean, I don't think it mattered as much because we weren't going to win the title last year.
Right.
But I mean, there's things like that. We haven't made a lot on the basketball side. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty amazed how well we have done. Now, drafting is another matter. I mean, obviously, there's always somebody that you say, dang, I know I was at 28, but I should have taken that guy. That's just the nature of the beast. It is really hard to predict who's going to be, great in the draft. Nikola Jokic at 41. I mean, how do you? Well, we did see it actually, but we didn't do it, and so. That's the drafting thing's the thing I think about when I say mistakes, the here or there. But again, it's hard to be perfect. So I don't really think we've done a good job overall. I just think that, obviously we could have been better in certain regards.
You talking about Eddie DeBartolo, and he's famous for kind of overreacting after a loss. I mean, that he would do that. The team would lose in the playoffs, and he'd lose his mind. He'd want to fire somebody in the locker room. Yeah, how hard is it for you when they lose to the Lakers and then they lose to the Memphis Grizzlies, and your season just abruptly ends? And I'm sure you want to make moves and you want to do all these things. How hard is it to stay patient and stay with the course and not be reactionary to just losing in the moment?
Well, it's a lot easier when you're winning to feel good about what you're doing, but we can't be complacent. I think the thing I think about right now is we just need to stay the course here. We know what we're doing. Let's keep the program going. It's hard. Sometimes I feel like I would love to go in and give that pregame speech. I'm sure Steve Kerr does a much better job, but it's hard not to get complacent when things feel like they're rolling, and then something always happens because you're not going to win every game. So. We just have to just stay on this thing every day.
Joe Lacob live in studio here at 95.7 The Game on the Morning Roast with Joe Shasky and Bonte Hill. What's next for Joe Lacob, though? Because a lot of people they want you to own their team. We're getting all these people talking about own the 49ers, own the A's. We've talked about the A's before. We know the WNBA is next. And we've been dying for a WNBA team here in the Bay Area. How has there not been a WNBA team in the Bay Area since the WNBA was created? Do you want to get your hands involved in that?
Look, it's been on our agenda for a long time. We've been thinking about it a long time, but we're busy, unfortunately, with things that were, to be honest, more important. We had to build an arena. That was a huge undertaking, incredibly costly, time-consuming, hardest thing I've ever done, to be honest. 7 years of work, and an additional 3 because this is since we've been open. And then COVID hitting. So the time hasn't been exactly right. As you know, I was the largest shareholder in the American Basketball League in the mid-90s.
Right.
I was a young guy. And women's basketball, I had 2 daughters. It was really important to me. And I went to, I saw Stanford and all those people, knew the people there, Stanford women's basketball and so on. So I really wanted to do something there. And I was a founder of that league, or one of the early people, certainly the largest shareholder, owned the San Jose Lasers as a team as well. And we lost, to the WNBA when they came out. Whether we should have is another situation or another story. But we did, and I lost a bunch of money actually doing it. But I've always had a place in my heart for it, and I knew that someday that will come full circle. So I still think that's in our plans. We're looking at it all the time, and now maybe a lot closer to the time when we want to do that. But that's up to the NBA also. We have to get a team.
Right.
And I know there's some competitive attempts in the Bay Area to do that lately, and that's great. That shows there's interest. NBA will decide who the right owners are of that franchise, I guess.
Yeah, you own the team, obviously, and you say you read everything, and I know that my brother in the same field of work as my dad, he's gone through trials and tribulations of, your dad helped get you the job to my brother a lot, and I think he's had a tougher road than others. I'm sure you've seen some of the criticisms of Kirk being a part of the operation with the Golden State Warriors. What's his role currently with the team?
Well, Kirk actually is number 2 behind Bob Myers. He's I forget his title, Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations. Bob's President of Basketball. He does a lot. He's been there 11 years. He's been there as long as I have. Wow. Going at 12th year. And so he's done a lot of different jobs over the years. Everything from started our Santa Cruz business, went to North Dakota. Believe it or not, early on, and ran that. We moved the team to Santa Cruz. We built an arena. He did all that, along with some other people. And esports, he got us into esports, and he's very involved in basketball. And every draft he played in high school and tried to play at Stanford as a walk-on one year. That didn't work out too well.
Now he plays in the World Tournament.
Yeah, he just won a championship.
He still plays.
Zaza Barbosa. He brought some ringers there to win a championship in 3-on-3 tournament.
Yeah, I always get on Kirk's back because he and Jeremy Lin were at the same year. They were point guards on the peninsula, and they were both really good.
Right.
And Stanford didn't recruit either one of them.
And Jeremy won a state championship.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, I look, he's done a lot of stuff. He's very, very deeply involved. And Kent also is now in his, I think, 7th year with us. He came out of WashU in St. Louis, where he was captain of the team there and played. And ran our Santa Cruz operation also. We use that as a little bit of a training ground for a bunch of people. And now that is under him as well. And all player development is under him, actually, including Europe scouting. And he's very, very deeply passionate about it as well. And, people love to criticize the kids of owners. I mean, and I get it.
Yeah.
Look, I grew up poor. When I was poor, I didn't like those rich kids, right? That's the kind of the attitude you have. And I get that because they have had the burden to some extent, I say that tongue in cheek, but of being my son. And I bought an NBA team, and they love basketball, and they wanted to do it, and they've been re-involved, and they're willing to pay their dues, and I treat them like every other employee. I really do. I think they've done a great job, along with a lot of other good young people that we're developing, the next generation of management for this company and probably, frankly, for other teams as well. So we take pride in that, always having the bench strength, right?
Yeah.
Not just on the basketball team, but in the business side.
Yeah.
And people need to just chill a little bit on that whole thing, because the truth is these guys work really hard and deserve, frankly, more credit than I get.
Yeah, and it's unfair. I mean, I see a lot of criticism. I told you, my brother's had the same thing happen to him, and it's like you actually have to outwork everyone to prove that you're, not someone who's just handed the job. How much does the Santa Cruz Warriors? How much has that helped your big league operation?
I was just with Steve Kerr pregame the other night, and we're having a little bite to eat, and he said to me, Santa Cruz is just incredible what it's doing for our organization right now. He was so complimentary. Juan Toscano Anderson. Think about this for a second. Damian Lee, I believe, also came through there and player development. And now, Gary Payton and Jordan Poole, what the role he had there. I mean, throughout the NBA, the G League has become so important. Over 50%, I believe, of players have at some point played in the G League.
Kuminga?
Yeah. Kuminga's going to spend time there this year. Wiseman probably will spend a little bit of time there. I don't know how much yet. And look, we have a lot of talent. So Kuminga and blanking right now.
Moody.
Sorry, Moses Moody. Are going to spend some time there. They're not playing as much as maybe they would on another team that is not a really good team. I believe 100% if they were on some of these other teams, someone would be starting on some of these teams. And they'd be playing 35 minutes and putting up numbers. But they're going to learn how to be winning basketball players when they're in this organization, playing with Steph and Clay and Draymond and our G League on all the great job that people like Chris Weems have done down there over the years. So, we have to be patient with them, and they're going to have to be a little patient. But I think what we've done in the G League is fantastic, and it's getting better and better and better.
No doubt about that. Joe Lacob live in studio here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
Incredible hour.
Talking about the Warriors. Don't forget, tickets still available tonight. Big game. T-Wolves and then the Bulls Friday night. This has been an incredible homestand. We saw Steph drop 50 the other night. JTA's having big minutes. You mentioned Damian Lee. How important, though, is it to try to get this championship for Steph, Dre, and Clay? Because a lot of noise. We talk about noise. KD helped carry you guys to another 2 championships. The first one was robbed because Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt, so you got to pass there. I know it's all noise. We all laugh at it. We hear it. But how important is this next one, if you could get that next one, for these 3 and the entire organization?
Well, I think what you said is the right thing just now. It's important for them, certainly, for their illustrious careers. It's important for the whole organization. There are a lot of people, and they will tell you this. They'll be the first to tell you. They work really hard to get us on the business side and on the coaching side and the player development side. It's important for all of us. Winning the championship is what it's all about. That's why we're here. Now, I'm going to give you something, though. I will say this. How many championships does LeBron have?
4.
He's a great player.
Right.
Great player. Steph has
3.
Yeah. I really want to see Steph get into that pantheon, at least equal to him. And nothing against him. He's a great player. Player on another team I'm probably not supposed to mention, for all I know. But
hey, don't expect us to pay the fine. We work in radio.
I'm not paying any fines, I hope, from this. But I'm just saying he's incredible. You know, everyone knows who he is. He represents. He's incredible, and he's got 4 championships. And you know, Michael had 6, and so on. Steph Curry is one of the greatest players to ever play in this league. And I personally would love to see him have as many as any of those guys. All right? Whether it's 1 more, 2 more, or 3 more. And so that's our goal, is to win that championship, not just this year, next several years. That's what we're trying to do.
And the guy on the screen here behind you on TV, Stephen A. Smith. Seems like you guys are buddy-buddy, Joe. He's already said if Clay comes back and Clay's Clay, you guys are winning the championship. What do you do? Do you go back and forth with Stephen A.? How's that relationship?
I know him well, and I really respect his basketball knowledge. I really do. And I think he runs a great show. Everyone knows me, knows they make fun of it, that I do try to watch that show.
He's a great entertainer.
He's a great entertainer, but he's good. I mean, I like what he does. So, look, he's in the job of predicting and, getting a lot of tweets and so on. But our job is just to go out there and do the best we can. And I think we've set ourselves up to be a really good team this year. It's nice that someone like him is, recognizing it all of a sudden after 10 games. But we've got a lot to prove. We've got the next 10 games, and then we've got, a lot of road games coming up, and it's a long season. And one thing you learn about the NBA is so many things change every year from beginning of the season, what people think, to the end. So many players get better, and some get old.
Yeah.
Things change. Some get injured. So you have to it's a dynamic thing. It's a dynamic thing. And our job is to just put ourselves in position to, continue and every single day to make ourselves better so we can go ahead and try to win that championship.
I mean, you've been to 5 championship rounds, so it's tied for the most ever in these parts for one ownership group. It's just incredible what you guys have done. And we haven't gotten to James Wiseman. I want to get into James Wiseman for a second because me and B, we're enamored with the guy's talent. And I just don't think the average fan understands how difficult the road has been for this kid. And everybody's bringing up LaMelo, and he's a guy like you were talking about. He got opportunity to play and have the ball in his hand and play on a team that didn't have a lot of the different things that the Warriors had going on. How difficult has it been for James Wiseman to navigate these first couple years, and you as the owner to kind of back him publicly the way you have? Because I think that has provided a level of support that the kid needs.
I think he had a raw deal last year. I mean, no summer league, COVID, no preseason. Everything went wrong, and he had to jump right in and play. And I thought, go back and watch. I think someone on your show this morning said it. Yeah, Shasky, right?
Yeah.
You said it. His first 2 games, watch how he played against Brooklyn. The team was terrible.
Yes.
But he was pretty darn good.
Yes.
And if you really look at his numbers and what he's done over last year, I will debate this with anybody. I think he showed me and Bob and the rest of us what he can be. He actually showed us a lot at a very young age with very little experience, very little preparation. I'm extremely high on James Wiseman. I think he's going to be a star in this league. And, people could say whatever they want. They can have their takes and all that stuff. Let's just see.
Yep.
It's our job to help him do that. But he has so many great physical tools. And what they don't know is how hard this guy is working through the last 6 months while he's preparing, his meniscus repaired. He works hard. He's put on weight, muscle. He is absorbing it every day, talking to Andre Iguodala, learning what he has to do, talking to Steph, talking to these guys. Like, I find it hard to believe that he's not going to come back and have a much better year this year. And That's just year 2.
Yeah.
Take a look how long it takes these guys, usually year 3.
Jordan Poole. I mean, look at think of how low he was and look where he's at now. You bring up Iggy. I got to come on. I didn't know Iggy had this much left in the tank, but just having him around everybody, there's just a level of joy and humor and seriousness and basketball IQ. Like on the court, he's got way more left in the tank than I thought, but just off the court, he provides so much for all these young guys. What was that acquisition like behind the scenes?
Well, honestly, we were so pleased to hear that he, I had it in the back of my mind, certainly, that we might bring him back if he had enough left and wanted to do it. And we were very fortunate that he really thought he has some left and he wanted to do this. And I think you can talk to him. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But in Miami, I think he learned about another organization, what that's like. And it's a good one, but it's different. And I think he's so happy to be back and in the role that he is. And he knows the system, and he knows Steve, and he knows Steph. And I mean, he is huge, the impact, I think, from what I'm seeing, the impact that he is having on our organization and our team. And we're very lucky to have him back. Very lucky. He will say he's vastly underpaid. Yes. And
he's always going to say that.
I appreciate that. But, the truth is we only have so much, Andre. Others have to make it, too.
No doubt about that.
Have you ever taken any money from him off the golf course, him or Steph?
Oh, Andre is a lot better player than he used to be. Oh. I've played with them both a number of times, and he's really fun to play with. Steph is really good, as you know, but Andre's gotten a lot better. So I'm not going to say whether I've taken money off because I can't even remember. But the truth is, these guys are great. They're veterans. I mean, we have such great continuity, bringing back that continuity by having Andre in-house now. And I think it really helps us, really, really helps us. And the other guys we brought in this summer, Otto Porter and Nemanja. Yeah. I mean, talk about perfect fits.
I love Bielitsa. Yep. I mean, that guy's game, it just translates.
He's good. You brought up Wiseman. We're talking Wiseman here because he had numbers comparable to Kevin Garnett, Rasheed Wallace, Dwight Howard as a rookie. Advanced metrics will tell you everything about that, but the numbers were the numbers. We've got a few minutes left with you. When can we expect to see James Wiseman back on the floor with the team and also Klay Thompson? Because you talk about that day, that emotional day, and everybody is going to push off their Christmas vacations to see Klay come back here. So when can we expect to see those two back?
Well, remember you asked me before what I get involved in, what I don't.
Right.
This is one of those things I don't.
Rick Celebrini?
I mean, yeah. We pay these guys a lot of money to do their job and to keep these guys safe, and I really don't know the exact answer on that. I don't know that it's fluid a little bit, but generally speaking, what you've heard is probably true. I mean, certainly in the next several weeks to a month, I think you're going to see Wiseman. Exactly in what role, where, I don't know, but he'll be back. And Klay, we'll see. I mean, everyone's saying, I'm only telling what you hear, what I hear, which is sometime in December, maybe. And that would be great. But, whether it's then or whether it's later, it doesn't really matter. We just want him healthy, and we want to, get him out there and get him integrated in the team.
Well, the vibe, right? We're all catching the vibe of this Warriors team. It seems like it's fun. You guys are having fun, ball movement, everything. And Steve Kerr is smiling a lot more on the sideline here. He's having some fun here. How special is it to have Steve Kerr still here coaching his team? And do you see a difference in him this season with this group?
Oh, yeah. He's definitely he's motivated. He's excited. I mean, look, how can you not be? Exactly. What's going on, at least so far, has been great. We've only lost one game in overtime in preseason or the regular season, which tells me, preseason everyone says, oh, it doesn't matter, but it does. And it sets a rhythm. It sets an attitude about the season. I think everyone knows that we're capable of being really good this year.
Yeah.
But we have to. It's not going to just happen automatically. There's a lot of other people and a lot of other good teams out there. We have to work at it every single day.
All right, let's get to the brass tacks. We've gone 55 minutes with Joe Lacob, owner of the Warriors, just the man right here. What do you think of Bonte Hill on TV representing the team for pre and post game, every single game? I know you're at all the home games.
He doesn't watch. He's watching the games.
The road games, like the road games. You're flipping on. Is he representing the team well, you think?
I think he's doing a good job. What I really like, I like people that, this is kind of a funny thing to say. I used to love watching Magic Johnson play.
Yeah.
Because he's always smiling.
Exactly.
He's positive. I like positive attitude. And I think that's what I really get from you, not necessarily your knowledge, Not that it isn't good.
Right.
But my point is, it's important to have that positive attitude. I was not putting down your knowledge, sports knowledge.
Damn.
What I'm
throw
saying,
some more stats in there, Sasky.
What I'm saying is, having a positive attitude, being uplifting, motivation. I think that's important in your job, just like it is my job.
Absolutely.
And Steph's job. So I really appreciate that. I like that.
Sorry, so now we're into outfits and stuff. These uniforms, you're wearing the new sweatshirt, the little pullover.
Those are sweet.
Those are so
sweet.
cool. What goes into the uniform thought process? Because you guys have been unveiling all kinds of throwbacks. You've got all these different city edition jerseys, and I feel like every single one of them has been a home run. Are you involved in some of these designs, or at least have who's designing these uniforms?
Well, it's Nike and the NBA and marketing. They all do this stuff, and when I get to see it, it's usually after the fact. Well, you can't do anything about this.
So what's your favorite uniform?
The one the other night,
the city edition.
Well, like that black one,
yeah,
with the bolts
on the
side.
Yellow?
Yeah, those
with the little lightning bolts up the side, or
like
whatever
those.
that is. I thought those were great. I love those uniforms.
I like the city with the cable car. I'm nostalgic.
I like that one too.
That one's just awesome.
You notice how Joe said I was doing a good job and not great. Great is most overused, where we were having this discussion last year. Great, we don't need to be great. I'm not great.
He's a
but he
man
said
of
good. I'll take that.
I just want to give you room for improvement.
Right, there you go. Thank you so much. There's a lot of room for improvement, trust me.
Yeah.
Now, Shasky, that's a different story.
Yeah, I'm a lost cause. That's okay. You can tell him that to my wife. But honestly, on behalf of 95.7 of Bonte, thank you for coming in here and talking to two schmucks about the team. And we love the squad. We want to see them win just like you do. And I think one of the things, as I'm a diehard Warrior fan, I know you're a big fan, but it is refreshing to see the owner be so out front, but to be at all the games and care the way us fans care. And it's not going to be perfect, but we know that you're going to throw all the money in the world at the team, and you're going to do everything you can every single year to put the best team out there. And we're seeing this plant kind of come to fruition right now, and it's just awesome to see it. And I think that Warrior fans are so lucky to have you, and I thank you. As a city boy, to see that stadium on the water, it's unbelievable. And I'm just, from the bottom of my heart, for Warrior fans, thank you for coming through.
Well, thank you for those very nice comments. You don't have to make those. But I'm sure if we screw it up this year, I'll get a lot of bad comments too.
Don't tune in from 6 to 9 if you start losing.
No, but thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And thanks for having me on today. It's always nice to talk to the fans. We didn't get a chance to take any calls, but
we were being selfish today. We're ball hogging.
Yeah, that's okay. You're ball hogging.
The ball wasn't moving here. Sorry, roasters. The ball wasn't moving.
You can give me your cell phone and I'll text you some of the questions later.
Joe Lacob, everybody. Here at the Morning Roast. A lot of fun here. Thanks so much for coming through. Warriors are 9-1. Tickets available tonight. Warriors.com. They're playing the T-Wolves, baby. We'll see D'Angelo Russell and Patrick Beverly, the new sense for the Golden State Warriors in recent memory here. Should be a lot of fun at chasing there as the Warriors try to improve to 10-1 on this homestand, an 8-game homestand, Game 7 of that homestand here. Joe Lacob, everybody, Raymond Ritter, thank you so much for that.
Thank you,
Shasky, and everybody out there. Willard and Dibs coming up next here on 95.7 Game.
Live near, work here. Outdoor Supply Hardware is hiring. Build a future at your neighborhood Osh. We're hiring friendly folks to enjoy.